Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there is a form down in the description of this stream right now where you can put your question in there so that we can get your question answered on the stream today. And as a matter of fact, I'm also going to just drop it in the chat right here for you as well. So if you want to get your question in there, you don't even have to go down to the video description for it. Let's just get in there, get your questions going so we can get them answered on the stream today. So we got D Nimmin in the chat today. What's up, D? Coming from a local time zone. Absolutely love it. Unfortunately, D's not going to be joining us on stream today, at least not, in person. But hopefully I'll be able to get him in here next week. You guys need to send him like tweets and everything like, hey, D, get back on there, get back on there. But he'll be back in here soon, I hope. So, but he's back in Thailand. He made it back in. So high five and fist bump to D for being back in Thailand. And I have to say that it is awesome just having him back here. So we've been hanging out, just meeting up for, for coffee and grabbing some food and just hanging out. It's been incredible. So, so super pumped up that he's back. But on the YouTube side of things and on the stream side of things today, I do want to let you know, if you are watching this on the replay, that during this live stream, we talk about all kinds of YouTube related things. So if you are, just getting started on YouTube, or even if you have experience with YouTube, I encourage you to skip through the stream and just find, whatever information is going to add value to you. And I guarantee you, as you're skipping through, you're going to find information that's going to add value to you regardless of your experience on YouTube. Because this stream is driven by the questions that everybody asks. So because of that, we have no idea what it is that we're going to be talking about today. But the one thing that we do know is that we are going to be talking about all things related to YouTube, from getting views on your videos to getting more subscribers to making money from what it is that you're doing through your YouTube efforts. All of it. We're going to be having that conversation today as the questions start coming in. So with that out of the way, I do want to let you know that today's stream is brought to you by Tubebuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. A lot of people think that Tubebuddy is just a keyword explorer, that it just helps you like tag your videos. But in reality, Tubebuddy has over 90 different tools that will help you with your YouTube channel. You can find a link to Tubebuddy down in the description below, or you can go to tubebuddy.com/Nimmin so you can see what Tubebuddy can do for you. If you do go the version of, with my name on the end of it, just so you know, I do get a commission if you do decide to upgrade later. So high five and fist bump to you for hooking me up there. Tom Nash in the house. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. And let's see here. And our co-sponsor is StreamYard, which is the live streaming service that we use to live stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the reason I use StreamYard is because it's easy. I like easy stuff. And StreamYard is easy. It makes it easy for me to stream. It makes it easy for me to bring on guests. It makes it easy to add graphics to the screen like you're seeing, right now. Like, it just makes it really easy to do all the things that I need to do during a live stream. And more importantly, it does all the heavy lifting for me in the cloud. So the computer that I actually run the stream on kind of sucks. And because of that, it's not a big deal because I have this device plugged into it that does my cameras, and then I have StreamYard that does everything else. So so you can try StreamYard out at StreamYard.com so you can see what StreamYard can do for you and what it is that you're doing. But I got links to StreamYard and everything else that I talked about and a bunch of other useful things for you down in the description of this stream right now. So as we start getting into the conversation today, just as a heads up, if you are joining us, I do pull the questions from the form that is down in the description of this stream right now. And just as a heads up, I'm going to drop the link in here as well, so you can get your question in there if you do have something that you want answered on the show today. So Tom Nash, what's up, man? Little Crafty Nook, nice to see you in here. LHN Family Gaming, nice to see you in the stream today. Tomb Data Workshop, nice to see you here as well. Jessica Compton, hope that you are doing fantastic. And Harry Tornado is our first super chat today. So I'm going to go ahead and address the question here for Harry Tornado. Let's see what we got. So Harry Tornado says, you give the best advice on YouTube, man. When I found you, we were at 70 subscribers. Now we're at 305,000 subscribers. Your advice really kickstarted our growth. Thank you. My pleasure. Glad that you took the advice and ran with it. It's the hardest thing to do because, a lot of people will listen to it and they'll even internalize it. They'll know all the stuff, but they won't actually, roll up their sleeves and get to working on it. So high five and fist bump to you for taking that action, for making it happen. I love seeing that you crossed over 300,000 subscribers now. That is awesome. So, keep going. If you can get 300, you can get 1 million. So, so keep pushing. That's awesome. Congratulations to both of you. That I see two of you right there in the profile picture there. So congratulations to both of you. And thank you for the kind words and the super chat as well. So let's see here. So as we keep on going, let's go ahead and hop into the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and just grab a question out of the chat. And if you are just joining our stream, what we are talking about today is we're talking about all things related to YouTube. So we're talking about getting views, subscribers. I'm sure burnout's going to come up at some point in time. Money's going to come up at some point in time. You know, cameras, you know, usually comes up during the stream, things like that. So if you are a YouTube content creator, everybody here is also a YouTube content creator. So you are amongst your people, so to speak. So, you know, feel free to get to know each other, all that good stuff. And, you know, you feel free to have your own side conversations in the chat as well. So the very first question that we have here in the forum is from Mima Living Healthy, and they do lifestyle and health content. And the goal of the channel is to help others struggling with weight issues. And the question is, what is your recommendation on best apps and software for converting logo into a vector format? That's a great question. So technically, I would say that you could do it in Illustrator, but then you'd have to actually go through and trace everything out and all of that. I know Photoshop also has an option. I've never used it, but I know Photoshop also has a newer option in there to where you can actually load up a raster graphic and you can convert it into a vector graphic there. But outside of those things, I'm really not sure. One thing that I would do if I was trying to do that and I didn't have Photoshop or Illustrator is I would hop on Google and I would type in, you know, logo to, you know, vector converter or something like that. I would see what popped up. Really, there's probably like a website that'll convert it into like a SVG or something for you that you'd be able to import, you know, whatever sizes that you wanted there as well, just as an option for you. Hopefully you can find something like that. I wish I could give you a better answer to that, but unfortunately, I don't have that one. Tom Nash, thank you for the super chat. My man says, just a way of showing appreciation for Nick. Dude is a power of good in this swamp. Thank you, dude. Thank you for the kind words, Tom. Super appreciate it, my man. So one more thing, like as we're, you know, kind of getting things going here before I hop into this next question, just in case you weren't here in the last live stream, because we're kind of slowly kind of rolling this out, letting people know about it right now. But for those of you that, hey, what's up, Doug? Hope you're doing awesome, man. Chantel, hope that you're doing awesome. Thank you for sharing that link. I appreciate it. But if you were not here last week when I mentioned this, I do want to let you know that if you are a live streamer or if you make videos, which everybody here does one or the other, that we have a free music service for you called Creator Mix. You can find links to it down in the description below, or you can just go to creatormix.com. But basically the music that you hear playing in the background of this live stream is from Creator Mix. I'm not sure if it's loud enough right now. It should be, but that's coming from Creator Mix. And basically we made this for content creators, you know, because right now on the internet, there's a huge problem with, with people, running into all types of like copyright strikes and stuff like that. And we're here to kind of alleviate that problem for you. So because of that, through Creator Mix, you will not get a copyright strike on your YouTube channel. You don't have to worry about, DMCAs, things like that. So you can check that out at Creator Mix. And we're already getting some good feedback on it. Like you can see here, how we got here. Genealogy says, love Creator Mix. I saw Canva Classroom says, I actually did a tutorial on Creator Mix for projects in Canva for YouTubers. That is awesome. If you can share that, if you can DM me that on Twitter, that would be cool because I would love to share that in my community feed. And let's see here. What else? Doug is saying that he's using Creator Mix exclusively now. Yeah, so fantastic. So, you guys are already using it, already getting value out of it, which is fantastic. So that's awesome. But I just wanted to make sure for those of you that are not familiar with that yet, for those of you that, might not know, I just wanted to make sure that you did know or that you were aware of us, putting that out there for you so that you can, get some awesome stuff for your videos. So let's see here. And we got Ron's Trains and Things also saying he used Creator Mix for the first time last week and loves it. It's fantastic. I love that feedback as it's coming in there too. Absolutely fantastic. So let's see here. So as we keep on going, so the next question that we have here is from KDA Legion. KDA Legion says that they've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. The type of channel is 2K, EA, anime, gaming, and reaction content. The goal of the channel is 70 or 100 subscribers. And the question is, this is a pretty long one, so I'm going to try to paraphrase this for the sake of, keeping it moving. But it says, morning, Nick. So yesterday, uploaded a new video, but it's not gotten any traction. Now that I know that I should not be concerned, but I need to know why. Was everyone not getting this video? Were they not interested, or were they not getting the notification? My next question is, okay, so we're going to cover one of these questions, and I'm going to cover that one since it came in first. So basically how this whole thing works with YouTube is when you publish a video to your YouTube channel, YouTube tests it against the people that they think are the most, or that the system thinks is the most likely to enjoy that content at that moment in time. So what's going to happen, you can see that YouTube is showing your content to people if you go into your analytics and you look under impressions. An impression is when they show your content to somebody somewhere on the platform. So your thumbnail has to be on screen for 1 second. And if it's on screen for 1 second, it doesn't matter if it's YouTube search, doesn't matter if it's a homepage, doesn't matter if it's a subscription feed, doesn't matter if it's a suggested video, it will count as an impression. Now your job, my job, everybody's job here as a content creator is when YouTube shows that content to the people that they think are going to be a great fit for that content, we got to get them to click on it. And then once we get them to click on it, then we also have to create a great experience for them in the video content in terms of, adding value to them and hooking them in the beginning of the video so that it's clear that they're going to be getting what they clicked on and things like that, and then taking them through a good experience in their video. And if we break anything as content creators along that chain in terms of it shows up on a page, somebody doesn't click on it, then of course, you just lost that particular impression, right? And that damages your click-through rate of sorts. And then of course, let's say somebody clicks, but then they hit your video and then they don't stick around your video for, that long, at least long enough to where YouTube can deem it as a satisfactory experience. Then what's going to happen for that viewer, then what's going to happen is if people aren't responding well to it through those things and through, further engagement on the video in terms of liking it, commenting it, sharing it with people, adding it to playlists, they can come back and watch it later, things like that. Even subscribing to the YouTube channel, like those types of things, they all add up to this picture that's painted for YouTube's system that basically lets their system understand, does this person or these people that are getting, presented this content, are they coming in and are they enjoying this content? Like, one, are they coming in at all? Are they clicking on it? And two, if they are they enjoying the content? And what happens is, the more that you can get people to click and enjoy the content and further engage, the better off our videos end up doing. Same exact thing works in the opposite direction as well. So if you are putting your content out there and people aren't clicking on it because your thumbnails are bad or they're not clear in terms of what your video might be about, your titles aren't clear in terms of, they're not compelling, or they don't help the potential viewer have an idea of what they might get in that video, or they don't create some type of curiosity or something like that, then what's going to happen is when people don't click, then of course YouTube's going to detect that, and then what their system is going to do is they're going to start moving things around to where the content that's on the all of the content is being uploaded now, plus their huge archive of content, as your content doesn't, compete as much, they're going to start prioritizing the content that does compete more. Now, it doesn't mean that your video is going to be, down forever. It just means that, at that moment in time, it's just not performing well, but they'll end up giving it impressions later and see how people respond to it, later as well. But, in that initial push that you're talking about in your case, that's probably what's going on. So what you want to do is you just want to go in, you want to look and see, hey, these are the impressions I'm getting. Are people actually clicking on this or not? That's step one. And then if, people are clicking on it, they're coming in, they're enjoying it for a little bit of time, then you are going to start seeing at least, some views, because people will be clicking on it and coming into the video. So, just keep all of that in mind when it comes to what it is that you're doing. Tube Spanner in the house. Danielle, what's going on? Hope you are doing fantastic. Says, loving Creator Mix. Even just playing the music is awesome. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's another thing too. Speaking of just playing it. So, for those of you that, that are familiar with Creator Mix, or, let's say you're playing it in the background of your live streams, or you're in there and you're just like listening to the songs on the website or whatever, you can listen to it in Apple Music. You can listen to it on Spotify, all the major streaming outlets. Like, you can listen to it while you're driving, while you're working, like whatever. We even have a YouTube channel that I have linked down in the description and at the very top of the chat right now, where you can go and just listen to Creator Mix in the background while you're, putting your videos together or whatever it is that you want to do. And that's a great place that you should be subscribed to as well, so that you can make sure that you're staying up to date with new music that we put out there as we do it. So let's see here. As we keep on going through the list here, we got that one taken care of. Now let's go on to The Canva Classroom. Canva Classroom says that the type of channel is a how-to. The goal of the channel is to teach people how to use Canva. And the question is, can you show us where to find the CTR specifically for browse, search, external, etc. in analytics? Is it per video or is there an overall CTR for the channel? Thank you so much for all that you do. So yes, the CTR, you do have an overall CTR for the channel as a whole, but you don't really want to pay much attention to that because it's most important at the per video level. So, like if you have one that is, that's just got a, really good click-through rate, then, that can make it look like the whole channel, has a good click-through rate, and the same exact thing works in reverse as well. So because of that, you want to dig into each individual video, but what you do is you click into your content inside of the Creator Studio. You log into the back end of your YouTube channel, you click on any one of your videos, and then you go into analytics. Once you are in your analytics, then you can click into advanced mode up at the top. And when you click on advanced mode, that's going to take you into like this whole other section of your analytics to where you can really, go in there, roll up your sleeves and, start uncovering stuff. But in terms of figuring out your click-through rate for the different traffic sources, in terms of browse, suggested search, all that, what you do is you click into advanced mode and then you click on traffic sources for that video. And then once you click on traffic sources for that video, what you're going to see is you're going to see the average view duration from the different places you're going to see, or from the different, places that you're getting traffic. You're going to see like your total watch time that you're getting from each one. You're going to see your click-through rate for each one. And by using that information, it really helps you fine-tune your understanding of how people are finding your content and where your content is performing best, so you can start looking for holes. And what I mean by looking for holes is if you find out that like, hey, I'm crushing it in search, but I'm not doing too great in suggested videos, then in that case, that tells you that you can get people to click when they're looking for what you have, but you're having a little bit of trouble getting people to click when they're not necessarily looking for what you have. So then you have to start, looking at what you're doing from the outside, your packaging in terms of topic, title, and thumbnail, and start thinking to yourself, like, if nobody's clicking on this from suggested videos, is it clear? Like if my thumbnail's at a small size, is it clear? Are the things on my title that are the most important for the viewers that I'm trying to reach? Are the things that are most important to them as close to the front of the title as possible, just in case YouTube ends up cutting off my title in that area, things like that. But basically, when you go in and you start looking at those, how you're performing under the different traffic sources, that just gives you tons of insight that you can start trying to troubleshoot, right? Because then you can say, hey, I'm not doing good here. I wonder why. And then you can start looking at how YouTube displays things, like I was talking about with suggested videos. So in some places on YouTube, suggested videos are pretty small, especially on computers. So because of that, when you are not getting a good response there, then that tells you like, hey, maybe I just have my thumbnails filled with a bunch of stuff. And when you look at it at a small size, it's just really confusing. And like nobody can really even tell what's going on in this particular, thumbnail, or they can't really even get an idea of, what it is that I'm actually offering here. So it's just making sure that you are, hey, Kate, hope you're doing awesome. But it's just making sure that you are, just being mindful of that once you see, once you see where you are getting the traffic from. Next up on our list, we've got Roadsters TV in English, I think that is. They do motorcycle reviews, and the goal of the channel is becoming the #1 motorcycle channel in the world. I think you come in that like within the first few questions here, like every week now for the last few weeks. Says, let's see here. Oh, this is great. I'm going to answer this question right here in a second. So, hey, Hershey Park, I'm going to answer this one for you right here in a second, but let me get through this form, or not the form, but this question right here. But the question is, I watched your videos about intros, how they should be less than 5 seconds long, and that is if you absolutely want to have one. I was wondering if we can count hooks in that time. Like in my case, for a motorcycle review, I want to have the beginning of the video, some shots of me riding with a hook at the end of the sequence, like a sudden banging, or hearing a crash sound and a black fade out to make the viewers curious about the rest of the video. Would you consider that type of hook valuable, or should I start the review right away? So experiment with it, because that's the whole thing when it comes to your audience retention and learning how to grab people's attention at the beginning of the video. Is experimenting with stuff. So when I talk about your intros, what I mainly talk about, hey, encounters with good people, nice to see you as well. What's up, terrestrial vibes? But basically when you are trying to figure out how to grab people's attention at the beginning, you should experiment with every idea you have. And the reason you should experiment with every idea you have is because you might uncover something that really clicks with the people that you're trying to reach. And the reason that I'm saying to experiment is because You do motorcycle reviews. You are on a mission to become the #1 motorcycle channel in the world. You have a much better understanding of motorcycle riders than probably most of the people in the chat here, because this is like your thing. This is what you're doing. So because of that, I would experiment with what you think that, you know, motorcycle riders would respond to at the beginning of the videos until you uncover something that causes them to stick around more. So the thing that I talk about when it comes to, you know, keeping them like 5 seconds, really these days, like 3 seconds or less, is your actual logo intro. And the logo intro is that thing that kind of interrupts the viewer. Some people, I was actually on Reddit the other day and I saw one person in there talking about like they love the intros because for them, that kind of lets them know that like, hey, the video is getting started now. But for data, like every channel that I've ever looked at that uses intros, they take some type of negative hit when it comes to their intro. Like some, it might just be, you know, like a small drop. Others will be substantial drops. So it really comes down to, you know, your audience, how they're responding to what it is that you're doing. But if you do have that logo intro in there, just think to yourself, does this add, you know, any value? Do I need it as a segue of some kind, you know, to kind of reset the video? Like just really put thought into it and think like, is it really important to have this logo in here, or should I just get, you know, right into the content? But adding that the experimentation at the beginning of your video is something that I recommend that you do, and that seriously, like sit down and write down a bunch of different ideas. Okay, beginning of my videos, what types of things could I do? And like write down a bunch of ideas, and over your next handful of videos, start, you know, testing them and seeing the things that people respond to and the things people don't. So for example, I would definitely try the thing that you're talking about. I would also try, since, you know, it's motorcycle people coming in, so that they can have that eye candy of sorts. If you ever ride around, you know, something that's really pretty, then in that case, you know, maybe you start that particular video with just, you know, you cruising through that, you know, pretty scenery or whatever with like a voiceover under it. And then that would be one experiment. And then you have another one to where you just show that, but then you have music playing. So there's no voice. They just have the imagery and then the music, see how they respond to that. And then have another one where it's like you on camera, you're sitting there on your bike and you're like, hey, you know, today we're getting ready to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then you know, go through that and see how people respond to that. And you just keep anything that you come up with, right? Just write it down and then, you know, start experimenting. And that's a big win too, when it comes to, you know, publishing a decent amount of content, is that, you know, it gives you all of that experimentation time to where you can like really test some stuff to really get a deep understanding of what the people that are responding to your content, or the people that are watching your content, respond to. So let's see here. So it says, Hershey Park Enthusiast says, I heard somewhere that YouTube won't push out videos as much if they're under 8 minutes. Is that accurate? It would make sense with the mid-rolls and stuff. No, that's not accurate. So some like longer videos typically, at least from my experience, longer videos typically will get suggested more in terms of suggested videos. They'll usually get a lot of impressions there. However, in terms of just like overall performance on YouTube, doesn't matter if your video is 2 minutes long or if it's 2 hours long. If people respond to it positively, YouTube's going to keep showing it to people. And the thing about mid-rolls is, you know, saying that, you know, it makes sense because the mid-rolls, keep in mind that for every video that somebody watches, that's kind of eating up time. If they're monetized, if they're not monetized, if they saw an ad, if they didn't see an ad, whatever, that's eating up time until that viewer sees the next ad. So because of that, as long as you give a really good experience to that viewer, you keep them, you know, watching your video, then you're still helping YouTube accomplish their goals, because they have multiple, you know, one is serving viewers the thing that they want to see at that moment in time, and creating that satisfactory experience, but they're a company. They're also trying to make money, right? So because of that, you know, on the advertising side of things, you know, even if you don't monetize a video, you don't have mid-rolls or whatever, you know, as long as you can keep people watching, it doesn't matter how long your videos are, as long as people enjoy your videos and they can make them, you know, a fair amount in your videos, just enough to where YouTube can deem it as a satisfactory experience, then you're going to win. So that's the goal, is I need to get my content to a point that it's deemed as a satisfactory experience for the people that are interacting with it. And then I got to try to do better, but that's like the baseline goal that I'm trying to hit. You know, like if you're just getting started on YouTube, you're trying to, you know, start getting results. Baseline goal, I got to get my content to a level to where people start responding to it in a positive way, so that it's competitive for the platform against all these other videos that are being uploaded to the platform every single minute of every single day. So, so just keep that in mind. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down the list here, it looks like there were a couple more super chats. There are at least one more super chat that came in. Let me get this one here really quick. This one's from Blas Chalas. Blas Chalas, or Chalice. Says, thanks to you, I hit 10,000 last week. People are enjoying what I'm doing. I'm a truck driver with 18 years experience, and I teach people how to become a owner, operator, and make money. Review my channel. Nice. High five and fist bump to you for crossing 10,000 subscribers. Nice work. So I'm not like reviewing the channel. I'm not pulling channels up in the stream, but congratulations to you for crossing that 10,000 subscribers last week. And, you know, like I was saying with the channel that mentioned the 300,000 or 305,000 subscribers that they got on theirs, you know, like if you can get 10,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, or like Harry Tornado, you can get, you know, 305,000. But if you can get, you know, 1,000 subscribers, you can get 10,000. If you can get 10,000, you can get 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. So like you're there, you just have to, like you've gotten to that point that I was just talking about in terms of making content that's competitive for the platform that people enjoy so that YouTube will keep showing it to people, right? Like you're there, like you've done it. So now all you're doing is just continuing to serve your viewers and putting out content on a regular basis so that you can fill in the time and the content that you need in order to hit, you know, whatever milestones it is that you are, whatever it is that you're after. So another super chat that we had here is from the driver sensei. It says, hey Nick, please tell Behind the Veil that they messed up by coming to your live. Now they will be addicted to an amazing YouTube educational live stream. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right. So let's see here. So as we keep on going, I just saw congratulations to Flying Potato. I just want to see if something happened to Brad here. I see 10K, those. Okay, I was just seeing, okay, so I think he was just celebrating that other one, I believe. All right, so let's see here. So next up on our list here, let's keep on trucking. We've got, let me hop back up to this form here and go to the next question, which is from Super Cooper Hobbies. Oh, sweet, it's raining. So where I am locally, just a quick side thing. So where I am locally, we have what's called burn season right now. And it's it basically, like, you know, the air gets polluted and all that stuff because farmers in the entire region here in Asia, they're, you know, they're burning crops and all that stuff. And then like people are out like burning like forests so they can get like these mushrooms out and stuff like that. But it's like a big problem. But this year we've been really lucky. We've had a lot of rain and things like that. And the air is really bad today. So like I hear that rain and I'm like, oh yes. So fingers crossed that that'll clear some of that out. I hope it rains pretty hard. Actually, we'll see how it goes. So here, Super Cooper Hobbies says that they are a booktuber. They give reviews of books that they're reading, and they give recommendations for books about certain topics. And the goal of the channel says, I want to share my love of reading. I would love to get monetized eventually, but that's a long ways off and not really a main goal. So first off, I'm curious to know why it would be, why you think that it's a long way off on getting monetized. So just as a heads up, like there isn't a time limit. You know, for everybody here, you know, like there's certain things that, you know, that you'll hear people say in terms of, you know, like making a bunch of videos, you know, those types of things that, you know, you should be on YouTube for like a year before you even, you know, start even considering, you know, monetizing stuff like that. Like there isn't a time limit when it comes to YouTube. Like there's not like you have to do, you know, this amount of time or upload this many videos or anything like that in order to, you know, reach certain milestones in terms of getting monetized, anything like that. So just keep that in mind. Like when you are, you know, saying like, I would like to get monetized eventually, but then you put in that sidebar of, but it's a long way off. Like it might not be, you know, you might be like a month away, you know, from that, or 2 months away from that, depending on the, you know, the content that you put out and how people are responding to it. But the question is, says that can changing your profile picture and banner over and over cause a branding and recognition issues? I've been experimenting recently and also edited in support of Ukraine. I got an idea for a permanent one that will finish my branding, but would it be best to just do that now and stop changing it? No, changing your profile picture is fine. Like if you change your profile picture, like your channel name is going to be the thing that people will remember, right? Your profile picture, like everybody changes those from time to time. It's not a big deal. If you want to change it, you know, every month, you know, you're more than welcome to. If you want to change it every few weeks, you can do that too. But you want to try to secure an actual channel name so you can build everything around that. But changing your profile picture, no big deal at all. Don't even don't even stress about that in any way, shape, or form. You are good to go. You're good to experiment with that. You're good to, you know, change it. You're good to, you know, use it as a you know, display of sorts to, you know, to support, you know, any cause that you support, things like that. So, you know, change it at your will. Don't even worry about it. So John Cordisco, Cordisco's Corner says, having a news politics channel is hard to keep up with watch hours as the episodes are timely. Suggestions on helping watch hours with timely videos. Trends. John, man, you got to hop on trends as much as you possibly can, because since you're doing news, well, actually, a couple things. One, I would make sure that you're hopping on trends, which I'm thinking that you're already doing. But just in case you don't know this, I'm going to say it just for the sake of everybody else here as well. So if you don't know this, this will be awesome. If you do know this, then this will, help others as well that might not. But if you go to trends.google.com, you can see right there the things that are trending, the things that are happening. And then you can go up to the top and you can search to start getting specific, based around the things that, because news outlets and news channels, they cover like certain segments, of news. So basically you would go up to the top search bar and you would type in, the type of segment that you do in terms of, the things that you typically talk about. And then what's going to happen is if you scroll down the page, you're going to see breakouts. And those breakouts are things that you can definitely hop on. Also, the real-time search trends are things that you can hop on, and as long as you have it locked to whatever country that you're talking about, and I see your American flag there in the background, so I'm guessing it's the US, then in that case, you just lock it to the US and you can see all the things that are, popular in the US at that moment in time. And the idea of hopping on trends and doing it quickly is that when that trend is happening, if you can catch it, on the way up, not on the way down, but if you can catch it on the way up, then you can actually, ride those waves as they happen. So successful news channels, that's what they do. But in addition to that, you might want to consider doing like opinion pieces. So even though you do news, part of news these days is like not actual news, but it's just, people sharing their opinions about things that are happening. So, you could take that approach as something that might be a little bit more evergreen. Just think of it from the perspective of, it might not be like really evergreen, but if I share my opinion about these certain things that are going on, it might give me a little bit more time than just sharing something that might just be breaking right now, but it's going to be over tomorrow type of thing. So like if you remember, with the exception of some memes that you see, tossed around and, every now and then, you might see something pop up. But like a week ago, Will Smith was everywhere. Now, kind of here and there, but that was such a, huge moment in time in terms of everybody's attention being on it. And even that, boom, it's like, boop. You still hear about it every now and then, but it's not, something that's like a big deal anymore. So, so just keep that in mind. And I would definitely try to find something, even if it's, sharing your opinion about stuff. I would try to find something like that to give yourself, just a little bit more time on what it is that you're doing. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, I'm just looking down the list here really quick, making sure I got everybody caught up, and I do. Gonna go over here, refresh, make sure I got everybody caught up here, and I think that I do. And let's see here. Got that. Okay, next up, we are going back into the questions. So if you are just joining the stream today, what we are doing is we are talking about YouTube, all things YouTube. So if you're a YouTube content creator, everybody here is also a YouTube content creator. And what we're doing is we are answering YouTube questions. So if you have a question, there's a form down in the description below. Later in the stream, I'm going to be grabbing them out of the chat as well. But for right now, I'm pulling them out of the form. Unless something like really, interesting pops up, or something where I'm like, oh, I got to clear this one up real quick or something like that, like the one I did a few minutes ago. Then in that case, I'm pulling them from the form now. So try to get your question there. But just as a heads up, like I said, we will be, pulling them out of the conversation here a little bit later as well. So as we keep on going down the list, we have Fretboard Diaries, which I'm going to guess is a guitar-related channel in some way. The type of channel is guitar-related content. The goal of the channel is to build a community. Can you hear this? You hear that rain? Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it's starting to come down. This is great. Love it. So let's see here. So build a community and share experience, and eventual monetization is the goal of the channel. You know what? I'm not sure if I actually answered the BookTube question. I think that I you know what? I'm going to go here really quick and go back one, because I think that I might not have answered that question. Hold on. Can changing? Oh, no. That was good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we're good there. Okay, so Fretboard Diaries, the goal is to build a community, share experience, and eventual monetization. The question is, first, Nick, thanks for all that you do. My pleasure. Says, my question is, I've been using polls and sharing links via the community tab and some decent engagement. Are there some other techniques to help engagement? Do hashtags help? How often should I be posting without being annoying to my subscribers? Thank you. So when it comes to posting, I don't know, just for clarity there, I don't know if you mean posting in your community tab or if you mean posting video content, but we'll talk about both. So some channels post daily content. People love it, right? So in terms of, some people will post, multiple times per day and people love it. And they'll do it around, different time zones and things like that. So they're hitting different time zones at different peaks and all that good stuff. And it works great. So it's not necessarily that you're going to annoy your subscribers with content because they're subscribing to you for content. It's just when you're pushing out, tons and tons of content, you may or may not be able to get people coming back, a lot because you're hitting them there. And then that, doesn't give them any time to watch other content because they're having to watch yours all the time. So then you might miss some people there. But with every video that you do publish, when you are publishing a lot like that, it does give you all those additional opportunities to, reach new people as well, which is a huge win. So it's not necessarily that you're going to annoy anybody because, people always have the option to just not click on it when it's presented to them on their homepage. So I wouldn't even worry about that. In terms of the community feed, same exact thing goes there. So when it comes to your community feed, of course, asking questions and polls are the two things that typically generate the most engagement when it comes to community tab posts, unless you share something like really interesting, like a photo, behind the scenes photo or something like that. But really, the questions and polls typically, will get the most engagement there. So if you're going for engagement only, then, you want to consider running those on a regular basis. But if you are trying to, increase your watch time that you're getting, total over the course of the month, you're trying to increase your monthly view counts, you're trying to bring, old content back to life, things like that, then your community feed is a great tool for that because, sharing links there, especially links into playlists, can, bring people, it's just an entry point that you're creating with every time you share something in your community feed. That's an entry point back into your channel, back into your content, based on what it is that you share there. So, so just keep that in mind. Let's see here. Oh, and other engagement, because you said like how to increase engagement overall. So you're already using the community feed. You're doing that there. When it comes to your content, when it comes to increasing engagement in your content, not everybody, but if you watch a lot of YouTube content creators, like they'll start their videos and be like, hey, what's going on? Today we're talking about, iPhones. And, before we get into the video, I want you to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure you leave me a comment down below. They go through that whole bit. And when they do that, like they hear it, like, hey, this is a YouTuber thing to do. So they do it by default. And calls to action are important. They're effective. They work. However, they work more than others when you do them in different ways. So for example, when you're doing a call to action, it's typically advantageous to focus people on one thing, right? So instead of being like, hey, like, comment, subscribe, where I got to do these three things, just focus them on like one thing and give them a reason to do it. So what I mean by giving them a reason, what I mean is, hold on really quick. So really quick, I just want to stop everything here for a second. So Leela is in the house right now. What's up, Leela? I hope that you're doing fantastic. So Leela just recently crossed 100,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. I just want to give her a high five and fist bump here on Nimmin Live today. Congratulations to you, Leela. Absolutely crushing it. Absolutely deserve it. She puts out amazing content. If you edit videos in Adobe Premiere, if you're not watching her content, you're missing out because she shares some really amazing stuff. So make sure that you go check out Leela. So congratulations, Leela. High five and fist bump to you for that milestone. It's a big one. Congratulations. So, but what were we talking about here? Oh yeah. So on the engagement side of things. So another thing that you want to think about is working it in the conversation. So for example, let's say that you're showing something in your videos because you're doing guitar related content. So if you're teaching people about guitar, then you could do it this way to where you're like, hey, you do this and then you do this. And oh, hey, by the way, if you're enjoying this so far, give this video a thumbs up. And then just keep on saying whatever it is that you're saying, right? So then it's just that really quick interruption and it's just that reminder. Hey, if you're enjoying it so far, this is like a feedback thing for me. Just give me a thumbs up. Same exact thing goes when you're asking people to comment. Instead of saying just comment, hey, just leave me a message or leave me a comment down. A message. What am I talking about? But instead of saying like, leave me a comment down below, let people know, like ask them something that they can answer or lead them in some way into that comment. And then what you do there is you take that energy out in terms of like, well, what do I leave a comment about? What do I say down here? And you take that away and you make it extremely easy for people to simply reply to the question or whatever lead it is that you use to lead them down there into the comments, with what you say. So when you're doing those call to actions, just make sure that you're thinking about it from the perspective of, let's build in a why, let's work it into the content in a non-interruptive way, and let's focus on one call to action at a time. So do those things. In addition to that, make sure that you are using your pinned comment to either send people to more content of yours, if you're trying to get more views, more watch time, all of that. If you're trying to get more engagement, then of course pinning a comment of like some type of compelling question that they can answer in the comment section as well is also something that you can do that's effective. So let's see here. So really quick, MasterTube, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. As we keep on going here, let's go. Hey, Video for Bosses, hope that you are doing great. Nice to see you in here. Let's see here. So Blas Chalice says, I'm using my personal name for my channel. Should I change it? I'm thinking to keep Blas. I'm thinking to keep Blas. So if you're using your real name for your channel, it's good. And if you're trying to grow a personal brand, but if you're trying to like separate yourself and you want to grow something that you can like have other people start making content for in the future and things like that, then in that case, you might want to consider giving it an actual name and building everything around that, basically building your internet brand around that. When it comes to using your name, one of the things that is a disadvantage is that, you know, you're putting yourself out there, you're you, and you know, you are held accountable for like everything you say because it's all attached to your name. So you have to make sure that, you know, that you are, you know, trying to keep, you know, your reputation up and all of that good stuff because, you know, like it literally leads back to you. But in addition to that, you know, you might also run into, you know, some privacy, you know, issues, you know, from time to time and things like that. But overall, you know, a lot of people on YouTube use their real names. It's not that big of a deal, but I would just make sure that you're thinking of it from the perspective of, you know, like security, and privacy and all of that. And more importantly, just thinking about like long-term goals. Like, what am I really trying to do with this? What am I really trying to do with my YouTube channel? Would it be best to use my name to accomplish that? Or would it be best to build like a new brand, that I can just build as something that I'm a part of instead of making everything me. So hopefully that helps. Okay. So next up, I just saw the message here from Nini's Way saying that my super chat disappeared. So I'm going to look here Nini's Way and I'm just going to see, because I have another thing that tracks those as well. So I'm just going to see if I see it here. Unnamed. So unnamed. So yeah, I had some super chats here. So let me get these taken care of real quick and then we're going to jump right back into the forum. Unnamed says, I make documentary style videos that take around 1.5 months to make. So getting the first 1,000 subs is very difficult. Do you have any advice? Absolutely. So if you're doing documentary style content, it takes you a long time to make it. You are going to live and die by the quality of your documentaries in terms of the experience that people have with them. So because of that, I would try collaborating with other documentary channels in some way. I would try to, just try to make your documentaries around things that have broad audience to give yourself just the best possible chance of getting in front of people. And also just be very, like if you're doing documentaries, I'm going to guess that you're also a little bit in tune, or maybe a lot in tune when it comes to, like thumbnails and being able to look at a thumbnail and be like, yeah, people probably click on that, or no, this is way too crazy. There's no way people click on this, that type of thing. So because of that, I would just focus everything on your content. Make sure that when you're putting your thumbnails and your titles together, that you are just trying to be as compelling as possible. Because, when it comes to your documentaries, you're going to be trying to get traffic from the homepage from that. So because of that, you have to, put tons of effort into your thumbnail and title. So if you're going to spend a month and a half on your video, do not, and I can't stress this enough, do not skimp on your thumbnail and title. If it takes you a week to get your thumbnail and title together, spend a week getting your thumbnail and title together so that you don't end up, blowing your chance there with the video. But keep in mind, you can always update them. But I would definitely, make sure you're just putting in time and a lot of thought, and even making multiple versions of thumbnails and titles and working through like, okay, which one of these is going to best represent what people are going to get in this particular documentary. Trey McVale Super Chat says, greetings. I'm launching a new channel for a different audience. Do you still recommend setting up something like Spreadshirt ahead of time? Any other recommendations for monetizing early outside of YouTube ads? Hey, what's up, Trey? Absolutely, man. I would go ahead and start your merch shop through Spreadshirt.com. I would do that. I would also think of anything related to the type of content that you're making that you would be able to promote on the affiliate side. And I would go ahead and just start getting those things in place so that when the opportunities do present themselves, that you have those things available instead of having to like go through the sign up process. Like, oh, I got this video that I'm putting out this week, so I'm going to submit, an application to be an affiliate of this. And then it's going to take them, a week and a half to get back to me. So I'm going to miss the point of publishing that video, those types of things. So basically just start looking for all of your, anything that you can possibly bring attention to as an affiliate that's related to your content. And then of course, doing your merch. I wouldn't worry about like crowdfunding and stuff like that yet, but right now I would just focus on the merch, and I would focus on affiliate marketing, because the cool thing about affiliate marketing is you can have one video that ends up, well positioned in search or just getting a lot of traffic from a homepage, and you can make a lot of money off of that one video over a long period of time. So because of that, I really strongly recommend and can't recommend enough that, if you are somebody that is starting a YouTube channel, which I know a lot of people in here are, like, try to find ways to monetize it, because one video can make a huge difference in terms of the income that you generate from your YouTube channel. If it's a really good video, people respond to it great from any surface on YouTube. So keep that in mind. Let's see here. Nini's Way says, I'm new to YouTube and I've started uploading shorts. Most of my videos don't get any views. I'm in the cooking niche. How do I reach the audience? So Nini's Way. So when it comes to YouTube shorts, when it comes to long form content as well, on any platform, it doesn't matter if it's TikTok, if it's YouTube, if it's Instagram, it doesn't matter what it is. Everything comes down to how people respond to what it is that we're doing as a content creator. So what that means is, if you are putting stuff out there and people are not responding to it, then either one, it's not clear in terms of like what somebody might be getting there in terms of like the title for it. But like with your shorts, like those are just going to be showing up anyway. Or it could be that when people are interacting with the shorts, they're just not, they're not sticking around and they're just quickly moving up, right? When they're presented to them. So because of that, I would actually just work on the quality of the content that you're doing. If you're getting 0 views, like you're getting no activity, then I would start at the very top, which is working on the actual content itself and trying to get the content better, so that people will respond to it better. So, when it comes to better, that comes down to just clarity, right? So of course, you don't need like fancy cameras and all that good stuff, but you do need, if you are communicating in your videos, it needs to sound like decent, right? Like it needs to be audible, those types of things. So the things that you're focusing on, you need to make sure that people can actually see what it is that you're focusing on. And like, let's say for example, if I was doing, let's switch to this one for this really quick. Let's say for example, I think it's 7. Nope. There we go. Let's say for example, this was my video, right? And let's say that I'm doing like a thing on this phone, right? If my short is like this, and I'm like, yeah, I got this. Oh, let me turn it this way. I don't know what's showing there. There we go. So if it's like, hey, I got this phone and and it's just all over the place, like this, and they're holding it. I'm like, yeah, the camera on it, and to where you don't really have time to really like see what's going on. Then people are going to end up leaving because they just can't figure out like what's going on, where to focus, where to put their attention in your actual video. So you just got to make sure. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just saying that I look at a lot of channels, I look at a lot of shorts, all that good stuff, and there are a lot of people that do that type of thing. And it's not that you're wrong for doing it. It's just that maybe you're still in that process of just like learning how to make the content good. And everybody starts there. Like everybody that you see on YouTube that has like really cool looking stuff, everybody starts that way. Everybody starts with like just trying to figure it out how to, wow, people use lighting in their videos. I thought they were just recording in room light, like little things like that can really make a big difference. So if you're getting 0 views, then I would work on the content, especially in the shorts shelf. I would work on the content over everything else. Priority content. Let's see here. A to Z Local Bus says, how can you ask another video creator to do a together on each other's channels when you are a small creator? So on YouTube, we call that a collaboration. And what it is when you are, you're publishing a video, they're publishing a video and you're collaborating on it in some way, or you just have other people in your videos or you're in other people's videos or whatever, but you're just collaborating, with other people with your content. But the way that you ask another video creator to do that is you first put together a plan of some kind. And you're like, hey, I'm working on this video. I think you'd be a great fit for it. These are the things that I'm going to be sharing in this particular video. And the part that, I think you would be a great fit for would be, this particular part right here. Is this something that you're interested in? And basically just kind of spell it out, try to be as succinct as you can, but just try to spell it out for them and just let them know, what it is that you're trying to do. In addition to that, if you are looking for people to collaborate with, you can also go to places like reddit.com, and you can go there and you can post in like some of the YouTuber forums there and just let them know, hey, I'm making this type of content. I'm looking for people to collaborate with, that type of thing. And by doing that, you're going to open yourself up to, one, friendships, which is great with other content creators. But then you're also going to open yourself up to, that process of collaboration. So just put together a plan and just start, reaching out to people. And by plan, I mean like this is the video, and this is, you know, where each individual people that you're trying to get to collaborate with you, you know, this particular part of the video was where they would be the perfect fit for that. So that's what the approach that you want to take. Let's see here. So we provide a dedicated YouTube CMS using the YouTube API, and we manage and advise about 400 YouTube channels to make progress. How can we get an MCN license and work as an MCN? I sent you an email also. Thank you for that. So in terms of working as an MCN, I would recommend that you don't work as an MCN because MCNs have a really bad name. So, you know, like one of the things, like anytime somebody comes into my live streams and they ask me if they should work with an MCN, I always tell them not to. And the reason for that is because MCNs historically, they just don't offer, you know, the value that content creators think that they offer. So because of that, you know, when people come in here, I'm like, yeah, you know, like don't even work with an MCN because the things that they're actually going to provide you versus what it is that they're going to get from you, it's not a good exchange. So, you know, because of that, I would try not to label yourself as an MCN. I would try to come up with something else to kind of frame everything around, just because MCNs, you know, these days have a pretty bad name on YouTube. And a lot of the content creators who make content like me, they do the same exact thing in terms of telling people like, hey, you don't need an MCN. Like these days you can get everything you need, you know, online. Maybe, you know, 10 years ago or 8 years ago, you know, it made a little bit more sense, but these days, like you don't need an MCN. So, I'm not sure when you sent me that email. So hopefully that's in my inbox now, and I'll get back to you as soon as I see that. Let's see here. So this is a great tip from Leila. Says collaborating with other content creators and brands is all about providing value and making their lives easier. Absolutely. So let's see here. So as we keep on going, so MCN that stands for Great Question TVR. MCN stands for multi-channel network, and basically what it is MCNs, they basically act as kind of like an in-between between content creators and YouTube. Some pretend that they offer support to content creators, and some do in terms of like, hey, we'll help you get a discount to like a music service, maybe some YouTube tools, stuff like that. But then when it comes to the other side of the promise, which is like, we're going to promote you and we're going to, you know, help you grow your channel and stuff like that, historically, they prioritize the channels that bring them the most money. So if you're not one of those channels, then you end up falling into the humongous pool of people that don't actually get any like real, you know, value from the MCN. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, Lawless Baron
All right. So this is how we're rolling now until my internet kicks back up. So we are rolling in as long as this is coming up, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we're good here. So yeah, this is how we are rolling right now until until my internet kicks back on, which should be here within the next few minutes. So right now, there we go. We'll just turn it here while I'm waiting for this to come in, and we are going to we're just going to keep on rolling here while I'm waiting for all of this to be able to turn back on. So I'm not even sure. Okay, you can see me. Okay, good. Okay, so I was just about to ask. Whoa. Okay. Dee just had a message pop up, let me know I was offline, and I was hitting something else, and then it took me over to there. So let's see here. Let me move this over, and let me. There we go. So yeah. So right now I'm just kind of waiting for the internet to come back on, but we will keep on trucking here as we are doing this. So turn this full screen mode off. So please be patient. Please hang tight. We will be back to our normal viewing experience here soon. I'm just going to check on a couple of things while we are waiting here, and then we'll go back and start answering some questions. So if you got to use the bathroom or something, now would probably be a great time to do that, because I got to like turn on some extra lights, things like that get kicked off. Whoa, that get kicked off my backlight there. That get kicked off when the power goes down. So let's see here. Okay, so monitor's on, so we're in the right direction there. So, okay, chat disconnected, unable to go. All right, so yeah, so here's what we're gonna do. So during this moment in time, what we are going to do is we are going to, while I'm waiting for these to come through, I'm just going to start pulling in questions like right here out of the chat. So yeah, so Dee, I can definitely, dude, if you are available, if you have your stuff, I can definitely pipe you in. But it looks like my StreamYard's loading right now, actually, so I might be good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm coming in right now from over here.
Oh, there we go. All right. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to leave this one open because it's still raining. So I'm just going to leave this open while we are, turn this down a little bit. And in the event, yeah, I'll just leave this open for now, and I'll just close that. All right, so here we go. So we're back. We are keeping trucking here. I think that's the phrase that I'm looking for. So excuse me. So the next question that we have on our list, let's keep on going here. So we got the guitar related one taken care of. Next up, we've got create imperfect. It looks like my music stopped too. So let me get that going again. That's actually like a full stop there. Okay, so hey, we got Think Media in the house. What's up, Sean? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. You came in the middle of chaos. So we've got Create Imperfect is our next question. They do inspirational and personal development content, and the goal of the channel is to inspire people to live a more creative life. And the question is, 5 years ago, started a YouTube channel. Let's see here. Let me scroll up. There we go. Let's see here. So 5 years ago, I started a YouTube channel and uploaded 20 videos, gaining over 400,000 views. I unfortunately stopped. However, the channel grew without me posting. Now I'm trying to restart the channel and be posting more. My question is, I've uploaded my first video based on previous videos that did really well in search on my channel. However, the new video only got 33 views. That's interesting. Hold on. Oh, I'm not seeing the live version, I don't think. There we go. So let's see here. So the channel got 33 views, unique viewers. Does YouTube know who my ideal viewer is, or has it been too long for YouTube to know where to recommend my content? And should I treat my channel like I'm starting from scratch? Yes. So think of your channel as you are starting from scratch without question, because you essentially are. You're basically trying to rebuild something that was there before, and you are, you're kind of starting from scratch, but fortunately you do have some data already in terms of how people responded to your content 5 years ago. But I can't can tell you that, you know, YouTube is a much different game now than it was 5 years ago. So because of that, when you are going into your content and you're putting your content out, just make sure that you're giving it your best in terms of your, you know, trying to make the best content that you can. You're trying to make it as clear as you can from the outside what your content is about. And you're trying to, you know, depending on your content type, you create, you know, curiosity to where it makes people want to see what's on the other side of that, you know, thumbnail and title combination, those types of things, in order to get people, you know, back into your content. Because in terms of like YouTube knowing who your content's about, they know who your content's about, or what your content is about and who your content's for, like when you are publishing your videos, because their system literally reads your content. Like their system watches your videos. In addition to that, you have the metadata that supports, you know, all of that and just helps add clarity to what your content's about. And then all of those things combined helps the system, if it's your very first video, if, you know, in your case, you started 5 years ago and then now you're essentially uploading your first video again. But basically what YouTube does is they'll try to show it to people. Now, one of the things that I mentioned earlier in the stream today is that when they do show it to people, us as content creators, like this is where things start, you know, breaking down in some cases. So for example, when you're publishing your content, if people don't click on it, then, you know, of course you're cut off right there, because people can't come in and see the awesome content you're making if you can't get them to click on it. So because of that, you have to go through the process of learning how to craft titles, how to make thumbnails that are compelling so that you'll get people to click on your videos. But in addition to that, just helping people identify that the content that you're making is something that they might care about. So one of the things that helps add clarity to, you know, thumbnails is, you know, instead of just filling it with a bunch of stuff and thinking to yourself like, hey, I'm trying to make this pretty thumbnail, think of it from the perspective of like, how can I make this to where if it shows up on YouTube's homepage when somebody loads it up on a computer, or when somebody's scrolling through and they're just kind of like halfway paying attention on a phone, what imagery can I use in my thumbnail? Or, you know, depending on what you do, you know, what text can I use in my thumbnail or whatever, that's going to help people quickly and easily without having to put any effort into it whatsoever, where it's going to help them identify that your content is something that they care about. So the example that I like to give for this is, let's say that you make baseball content. Let's say you do baseball commentary. Well, in that case, if you are putting yourself in your thumbnails, and your thumbnails say something like, you know, the Bob and Tom Show or something like that, then in that particular case, that doesn't really add context to anybody in terms of grabbing their attention, right? Unless they already know who Bob and Tom are, or they know who you are. So because of that, the thing that you want to think about from that idea is, instead of, you know, focusing on me and the name of our show necessarily, maybe I should just focus on some baseball imagery, because then that will help people that are into baseball, which is the thing that I'm talking about all the time. That's going to help them identify, without having to think about it at a glance, that my content at least has something to do with the things that they are interested in. So you just want to make sure that you're taking that approach in terms of just trying to make it as easy as possible from the outside, especially when you're first getting started. Making it as easy as you can to help people identify that what you're making is something that they care about. Now, of course, you know, working on trying to be compelling and working on trying to come up with ways to trigger people and things like that, that's like a whole other side of things, and you can do that too. But like, if you're just trying to get the motor started again, or if you're just starting out on YouTube, try to focus on, you know, just making things clear and easy to understand and easy to identify, more than, you know, trying to think of like, okay, how clever, you know, can I be with this particular, you know, thumbnail and title combination right now? Because, you know, that simplicity, it'll get you a long way. So let's see here. So we're fully back and running now. I think we got music going. Yep. You know, the music's still not coming on. There we go. Roger Wakefield in the house. What's up, my man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Nice to see you in the stream today. So here, next up, we've got the Snipe Life. Snipe Life says they do Christian commentary education. Oh, you know what? This isn't running right now, is it? There we go. They do Christian commentary education, and the goal of the channel is to make Christianity simple. And the question is, every single one of our live streams gets limited, yellow money sign, every single time we stream. I have to go in and ask for a manual review to fix it, but that takes about 12 hours to fix it. I believe this is affecting our reach. YouTube support can't tell me why this happens, and we are a mega family friendly channel. Anything that you think that we could do to prevent this? So if you are getting those yellow icons every time, the only thing that I can think about is, you know, they do find something, you know, clearly the system is detecting something about your content that is causing it to do that. So I would definitely go through and look at all of your metadata in terms, you know, like what you talk about in the video matters too. But the first thing that I would do is I would go in and look at your captions when you are getting ready to publish publish a video, or actually these are live streams. So I would go through and I would look at your captions and make sure that the system understood the things that you were saying. What is going on? Oh, I had a camera go down. Let's see here. That is that one, that one, that one, that one. I will be right back. In the meantime,
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
all right, there we go. Tech happens. Absolutely, it does. All right, we're back in business now. Okay, I think everything is on now from that power outage. So let's see here. So the yellow icon. So yeah, so what I would do is I would go in and I would look at your captions to make sure that the system is understanding the words that are coming out of your mouth in that accurate way, and that they're not putting questionable things there just based on how you communicate or how the system's picking up the language. In addition to that, I would look at your metadata and look for anything that you commonly use in your descriptions, in your titles, and your tags that could cause their system to be flagging things. So what I would do is I would go in and I would look across all of the content that ends up, I would go and look at through all of your content that does get those yellow icons, and I would start looking for things that are consistent through all of those different pieces of content. And then on the next piece of content that you have, if you do identify some similarities between them, I would try to, of course, omit those from that metadata for that next piece of content, just to see if it ends up, getting flagged, or not. So like little things like that, those are unfortunate things about YouTube. Is just kind of, ending up as collateral damage for things like that, where they're trying to, make the platform, safer for people and things like that. And then unfortunately, people are trying to do good things, like in your case, you're trying to do something good. And then you do end up, as part of, collateral damage, so to speak, based on, things that others have done in the past. So it's unfortunate to hear that you're dealing with that. Hopefully you will, hopefully it'll get resolved soon, but I would definitely just look for those consistencies and make sure you double check your captions too. Master Tube says, Nick, I think you misunderstood my question about the MCN. I'll send you a new email right now and give you the full details. Thanks for checking out my email. Best regards. Super cool. Thank you. I will. I'll check that email after the stream today. So let's see here. As we keep on going through this list, we got the I Believe podcast. The I Believe podcast, they talk about the unexplained in aliens, UFOs, ghosts, etc. And the goal of the channel is to become a platform that anyone can be a guest and tell their personal story and experiences with anything unexplainable. So the question is, I'm using vidIQ and it recommends me going live at noon Eastern. I currently go live at 7 p.m. Eastern. I only have 63 subscribers. Should I make the switch? I'm worried about losing my current subscribers. So just as a heads up, if you go live at a different time, you're not going to necessarily lose the subscribers that you have. You might actually end up gaining, right? Gaining more subscribers. But one thing to experiment with on your YouTube channel is, if you are like committed to going live at a certain time, if you go into like your YouTube analytics, they're also going to show you when your viewers are most active on YouTube. And to my understanding, with all the different tools, with vidIQ, with Tubebuddy, they basically are pulling the data from that information and they are giving you their recommendation on the best time to post based on, that graph. So what I would do is I would just double check that with that graph. And as long as, that's similar to what's in that graph, then in that particular case, then I would experiment with going live at that time, as long as it fits into what it is that you're doing, and just see the type of response that you get there. But one thing I can tell you is whatever time it is that you go live, if you just pick that time and you just keep showing up and you keep adding value to the people that are coming into your live stream, and you just keep doing it week in, week out, you'll grow, you'll grow an audience through that. But you just have to make sure that you are just being mindful of it. And you're just thinking of it from, some logical perspectives in terms of like, okay, if I'm in the US and I'm going live at like 6 a.m. talking about, these particular things, are the people that I'm trying to reach with my content likely to be up at 6 a.m? If I'm talking about, these other things, would the audience that I'm trying to reach with these other things be likely to be online or on YouTube at 9 o'clock at night, right? So it's just that understanding of your audience as well, in terms of, just their life cycles, and thinking of, like when would be a best time for me to publish my videos, or a best time to go live. But really using those graphs, using the tools, and just kind of following their lead can really be helpful as well. So let's see here. So as we keep on going through our list here, we've got Best Kids Solutions. Best Kids Solutions says they have a parent and teacher channel, and they are dedicated to helping the most important people on the planet, kids, parents, and teachers. Helping this great group of people, when they are taken care of, our world will be a better place. That's an awesome mission that you're on. Says, my channel helps educate parents and teachers on best practices and helping make their lives easier. Parent and teacher content overlaps quite a bit, but I'm concerned that I should be making separate channels for each, or am I okay with talking about them both? Yeah, you are kind of, crossing audiences there. You are kind of, like, for example, if you publish something for teachers, the parents, they might not necessarily, care about that. So like, let's say you're talking about some type of technique or, something like that with the teacher, some parents would care, but, at scale, I'm not sure. I'm not a parent, so I can't, speak with, authority on this one. But, a parent, they may or may not care about some of that information that you're sharing with the teachers. Like if you're talking about, and I'm just going to go extreme here, right? In terms of, an example, but like if you're talking about like, hey, these are like the best workbooks to use in your classroom, or, the best scissors, that don't break down over time, things like that. Then in that case, that may or may not, be something that, the parents would enjoy, right? So because of that, I would just think of it from the perspective of, okay, if I'm putting out this video, would both people be able to enjoy this video? And then craft your content. If you are trying to reach both on one channel, craft your content around more general things that both would be interested in. But really, in my opinion, that's kind of the hard road. I would just focus on either teachers or parents and just serve that audience in the best way that you can. That's what I would do. Let's see here. No, I haven't, not yet. So Sean asked if I got the research tab in my analytics yet. I have not. I'm really waiting for it to show up. So today I'm actually testing the redirect feature for the live streams, which is pretty cool. And depending on like how, depending on how quickly it ends up flipping over, like that particular thing might be cool for like cascading things for like, fundraisers and things like that, from channel to channel to channel. But in terms of the research tab, I do not have it at this moment in time, but I'm really looking forward to it though. I think it's going to be a game changer in terms of not necessarily because, you can do keyword research already, but where they're supposed to be giving the gap information and, showing you where there's content gaps around the type of content that you make. I think that's where that particular tool is really going to shine. Let's see here. Best Kids Solutions. I think we got that one. Yes, we did. Okay. So next up on our list here, we've got Sly Fam. Sly Fam says they do challenge content. The goal of the channel is to have fun and make people's day better. The question is, how do I get my views up for shorts? So here's the thing, and I always I always kind of feel bad when I say this, but before I say what I'm getting ready to say, because I've said it a couple times in the stream already today too. But before I say what I say, I just want you to know that like everybody, we all go through a similar process. So I'm not saying that what you're doing is like bad or anything, but we all go through a similar process because, a lot of this stuff is based on skill development. So when it comes to, getting your views up in shorts are based 100% on performance. And what that means is people have to enjoy your shorts. And the more that people enjoy your shorts, the more YouTube is going to keep showing those shorts to people. So, the more they interact with, or the more they engage with them or interact with them, the longer they watch them for, if they're looping them, things like that. Those are the things that will cause YouTube to continue to show those shorts to people. However, if somebody slides up and your short, shows up right there, and then they're like, oh, nope, and then they slide past, then, that's going to work against you. So because of that, just being able to grab somebody's attention in a short, pull them in, give them an awesome piece of content for however long your short is the thing that you have to learn how to do. So if you're not getting your views on your shorts right now, then I would just start working on like, okay, think of the viewer experience. When this short slides up, and I have this one moment, this one opportunity to capture these people's attention that are going to be seeing this short. What can I do at the very start of this short to make people just kind of stop in their tracks? What can I say? What can I show them? What do I need to do in order to grab their attention and then start pulling them into the actual content itself? And then when I get into the actual content, what can I do there in order to make it just a really interesting, informative, uplifting, motivating, educational, funny, like that type of experience for people as they're interacting with your shorts. VJ Nelson, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. You are awesome. Thank you. Charmelazon. I hope I'm saying that correct. Charmazelian, I think it is. Said that, Doug's got the research tab. So Doug's got the research tab. That's awesome. So congratulations to you, Doug. So I feel there's a video in your future, right? Coming out with that one. So let's see here. So Charmazalan, they have an art channel, and the goal of the channel is to teach people to draw and to show off their art. And the question is, I don't see growth beyond 5,000 views. I'm not getting enough subscribers, and I think it's because the art niche is not popular enough. Do you think that I can make a growing channel using the art niche? Absolutely, without question, you can. Art is extremely popular. It's extremely popular on YouTube. It's extremely popular in the world. Yeah, without question, you can grow an art channel without. Like, there's not even like a momentary question there. You can absolutely grow an art channel. Synopsis Pictures says that they are a Filipino drama recapped in English. Filipino dramas recapped in English. The goal of the channel is to spread the joy of Filipino dramas. And the question is, I have a small channel dedicated to Filipino dramas recapped in English. I had a good number of views until a few days ago. Views dropped dramatically by 90%. Is this normal? So a couple things to look for. If you are doing those types of things, I would definitely double check. I will go look right now for that, Doug. Thank you, man. I would definitely go check to make sure that, you haven't been demonetized, to make sure that you haven't gotten copyright strikes on anything, those types of things. But in terms of, views dropping dramatically, like by 90%, that's a pretty heavy drop. But if you are kind of living and dying by the dramas, like as they're coming out, so like, let's say, for example, you have, if you're trying to do Filipino dramas in English and you're trying to reach an English speaking audience, which is a lot of Filipinos speak English as well, which you know already. But basically, it wouldn't necessarily be based on you trying to, capture the attention like as all of this stuff is coming out, because if you're trying to reach the English speaking market, then in that case, they're not even going to know what's actually going on in the Filipinos dramas, to where they're going to be staying up to date with them anyway. So yeah, that's actually not normal in terms of that 90% drop. So I would be concerned about that, but I would also not panic. I would just look at it, and I would just go in and I would look in your analytics to look historically, go into your traffic sources, go and you're going to see the lines going across the top of the screen there, the line chart. And when you do that, if you select the date range from before it dropped off and to where it dropped off, what you're going to see is you're going to see those lines going, like this is where you're getting your traffic from like browse, suggested, and search. And you're going to see exactly, the moment that those views dropped off, and you're going to see exactly, where it dropped off and what traffic sources ended up, not giving you views anymore. So one thing that could happen in that situation is, let's say you have one video that's driving like a tons of traffic to your videos. It's attached to, in terms of getting suggested by in like a next up spot or something like that, a very high volume video. And then another video comes along that is, the people just respond to better in that particular location on YouTube. Then what can happen is that can cause, that one to take priority there. And then you could take a substantial loss in that case. Same exact thing goes for YouTube search. Like, let's say that you were getting a lot of traffic from YouTube search, and then somebody comes along and bumps you out there, then the same exact thing can happen there. So, those types of things can happen, but like a 90% drop across the whole channel, that's definitely not something that I would consider normal, unless everything was just based on the performance of one video on your YouTube channel. Let's see here. So She Fires is our next question. She Fires says that they do self-defense and self-promotion with and without a firearm. And the goal of the channel is to educate and inform those who are interested in being more self-aware and better protected. The question is, I recently moved from a variety channel to a very specific niche on personal self-defense and protection. How do I inform my viewers and subscribers that the channel is going away and to invite them to the new channel? So, to my understanding, if you move from a variety channel to a niche channel and you're literally just going and you're making content on a completely different channel, if that's what you're doing, then in that case, I would make a video on the current channel. If you're just going to walk away, if you have a subscriber base already and you're like, hey, I'm just walking away from this channel, then I would make a video on your main channel, the one that you're going to walk away from, that has something to do with the content that you are publishing on that new channel. And the reason that you want it to be something that has to do with that content is because you don't want to just send all of the people that are currently subscribed to your current channel. You don't want to just send them over to, to your other channel, because then it might confuse YouTube initially on like who it is that, that should be responding to that content. So because of that, if you publish a video on I'll call it your old channel. If you publish a video on your old channel that has something to do with, personal security, all that good stuff, then in that particular case, the only people that are going to respond to that on the channel are the people that are really into you, and the people that are interested in that particular topic. So it might not be a large chunk of your audience, but that would help, just kind of get some initial traction going on over there. And by making the content on the main channel about that, it might not perform that great on your main channel, but it would get in front of the right people, or the right people would respond to it out of your current audience, at least the ones that YouTube would show it to where you might be able to kind of build that bridge for some people to walk over to the new channel. But with that said, like you don't need that other audience in order to kickstart the new channel. Like like you can, if you want to, just start making content on the other channel and start moving in that direction. But one thing that I wouldn't do is, if you had a variety channel before and then now you're going to go like niche specific, I wouldn't, like, if you have like a huge content library on the other channel, I personally, do what you want, but I personally would not put the self-defense content over on that variety channel unless you talk about other things like that on that variety channel, and then just start putting more self-defense content and just kind of start focusing it there. But really, I would only do that if you have other types of content like that on the channel as part of your variety. And then as you start having some of those videos do well, I would start unlisting some of the videos that are not related to those types of things. So let's see here. So let's keep on trucking. Let's keep on moving here. So we've got Behind the Veil. Behind the Veil, they upload every other day. Nice. It's a grind. Says the type of channel is well-being and motivation. The goal of the channel is to provide quality content, motivate people to work on their well-being. Awesome mission there. Says, hey Nick, thanks for all that you do. My channel started in January 2022 and I have 42 subscribers. I have a few playlists which I publish to, because at the moment I'm still trying to figure out where my focus will be. I feel I'm putting pressure on myself to decide my channel's focus really quick, but can I take a bit more time to decide this? Absolutely you can. So one of the things that YouTube actually recommends is that when you are, hey, Square Table Podcast, hope you're doing great. But when you are putting your content together and you're starting a YouTube channel, like if you don't know what it is that you want to do, like if you're like, hey, I don't know, like I know I want to be on YouTube, but I don't really know the content that I want to make yet. What YouTube recommends is that you start publishing content about things that you care about. So it's not like, hey, I'm just going to publish about everything and just kind of see what works. But you start publishing about content that you care about. And the reason that you publish content that you care about is because eventually one of those videos, based on all the different things that you talk about, will start getting substantially more views than some of those other videos. So YouTube's recommendation there is when you have those moments happen to where you're like, hey, people start responding to this particular, type of content on your channel, what they recommend is that you double down on that type of content. So, so that's why it's so important to make sure that you're only publishing around things that you care about, so that when you do have those videos that do better and you decide that, like, hey, this is the direction that we're going to start moving in, that it's something that you care about, so that you can do it sustainably for a long time into the future. Because the last thing that you want is, let's say that you're into art, and you make some videos about that. And let's say you're into music and you make some videos about that. And then you're into tech and you make some videos about that. But you're not really like so into tech that you really want to have a YouTube channel about it, but you just made that video because, you wanted to put a video out and you just wanted to see if you could make a tech video. Well, let's say that tech video just goes to the moon. And let's say that just starts getting crushed with viewership because you just made an awesome piece of content. Well, what happens is you just basically just made yourself a tech channel. So because of that, you just want to make sure that when you're publishing content, you want to make sure that you're publishing around the things that you care about, so that when you do have a piece of content that goes well, you can say, okay, this is something that I care about, and this is like the direction I want to go. YouTube has kind of found an audience for me, at least for this particular video. So because of that, I'm going to make another one like it and see if I also get a similar result in terms of, people just coming in and enjoying the content. Let's see here. Roger Wakefield says, Nick, Creator Mix is awesome. Thank you, and D. And Dan, if he was involved. Dan's always involved. Dan's always behind the scenes. Thanks, Roger, man. I'm glad that you're enjoying Creator Mix. We're getting a lot of really great feedback from that. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it also, my man. Thank you so much for the kind word. Dan, for the mention, too. Thank you. Brandon A says, unsure if a lifestyle YouTube channel is still the way to go, even if done right. With your knowledge around YouTube, do you still recommend it? I realize that success depends on a whole host of things, but if done right. So lifestyle channels are still fine. You just have to be clear on who it is that you're trying to reach with that lifestyle content. Like with any type of content on YouTube, like you can do, lots of things, but it's the most important is just getting clear on who it is that you're trying to reach with your content, because then in that case, you just run your ideas through a filter of, is this a great piece of content for the people that I'm trying to add value to? And if the answer for that is yes, then in that particular case, then it's like, okay, then we're going to add this one to the list. If the answer is no, it's like, or you're like, yeah, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it's not. Then in that case, maybe shelf it, for later, or try to figure out how to make it a great fit, for the people that you're trying to reach. But you can do lifestyle channels, it's fine, but I would just make sure that you're just clear, because, lifestyle channels, there's like everything in lifestyle channels, but I would just make sure that, your whatever segment of the lifestyle crowd that you're trying to serve, I would just make sure that you just get really clear on who that is, so that you make sure that you're only putting out the types of lifestyle content that that particular audience is going to enjoy. And of course that you enjoy. That's a super, super big part of it. Very large part of it. Large. Okay. So here, next up on our list, we've got... And by the way, if you're just joining the stream, what we're doing right now is we're talking about YouTube. So there's a form down in the description below where you can put your questions, and I'm just going through them in the order that they come in. And then here a little bit later in the show today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hopping into the chat as well. And I'm going to be pulling questions directly out of the chat. But for right now, I'm pulling them directly out of the form itself. If you do put a question in the chat, make sure that you put a Q in front of it, because from time to time I will pull them out of there. Just make sure you put a Q in front of it, and then that way that helps me identify that it's for me instead of it being for, just like a side conversation that you're having with somebody else in the chat. So it just makes it easier for me to identify it on my side. Let's see here. So Salad Cream Boy says, hey, Nick, are there times when it's better to not use music instead of using music in all your videos? Absolutely. Like for example, like if you put music in your videos and you find that your audience just isn't responding to it because it's like the wrong music. Like let's say that you are making content on, and this is an extreme example, but let's say you're making like meditation, type content, or like well-being type content to where everything's just like chill and calm and all of that. But then you have like, heavy metal music as the background music for that, then if somebody's listening to that in headphones and they're just they come in your video, they're expecting something chill, and then you hit them with something heavy like that, then in that case it could cause some of those people to leave. So just thinking of, okay, with the type of content I'm putting out, what's a good match for this? What do I like? What can I experiment with to see if the people that are enjoying my content, to see the type of content they like, or the type of music that they respond to positively on the channel compared to the type of things that they don't. So there's that. And then there's also, if you find that like, hey, using music in my videos for whatever reason, my audience, any videos that I put music into, people just don't respond to them, then in that case, then just stop using music in your videos if you find that people don't respond to them. And then you can just use them like from time to time in terms of like little build-ups to certain moments and things like that, if you wanted to take that approach. Let's see here. So as we keep on going. Next on our list. Okay, Jaden0428 says that the goal of the channel is everything. And the question is, YouTube subscribers, why do numbers keep going up and down? Okay, so good question. So when you're just getting started on YouTube, one of the things that are going to be extremely important to you is, waking up, looking at your counts, your view counts, watch time, your subscriber counts, things like that, and looking like, hey, did I get anybody, right? Did anybody come in? Did anybody else watch my stuff? Did anybody else subscribe to the channel because they liked it, anything like that? And when you see them, right, you get those, those gains where it's like, hey, I had like 3 people subscribe to the channel today. This is awesome. This is great. And then you wake up the next day and it's like, oh no, but 2 of those people left. And then you start like, oh no, this sucks. One thing I want you to know is that it doesn't suck. So when you are first getting started, when you have, 5 subscribers, if you lose 2 subscribers, that's a huge impact. But keep in mind that as you progress through YouTube, you're going to have, ups and downs. You're going to have peaks and valleys. You're going to have people subscribing to the channel. You're going to have people unsubscribing to the channel for tons of different reasons. Some people are going to unsubscribe because of something you said. Some people are going to unsubscribe because you do a live stream and you didn't answer their question. Some people are going to unsubscribe because, they found out something about you that they don't agree with. Some people are going to unsubscribe because they don't watch that type of content anymore. Some people are going to unsubscribe because they unsubscribed to you thinking that they were going to get one thing, but then now they get something else. So basically, when it comes to YouTube, it's like people subscribe, people unsubscribe all the time. So don't let it bother you. And I know that you're like, hey, I'm trying to grow this thing. And when you see those losses, I know it hurts, but you want to just make sure that you're thinking like, hey, this is a long game. So what happens here over these like next few days or this next week or even this next month? Like it's not that big of a deal. This is just like a part of this journey. So, I'm thinking like, a year from now, I'm thinking 2 years from now. And, by that time, those 2 subscribers, like I'm not even going to notice that those 2 subscribers left. And another thing too, just for your peace of mind, is like on my YouTube channel over the course of me starting, back in September of 2014, I've lost over 300,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So like it's part of the, it's part of the game, right? So so don't let it bother you. And again, I know that's easy for me to say, but like the more that you can disconnect yourself from being kind of like emotionally attached to that kind of stuff, the better off you're going to be, long term. Thanks, Doug. Going in there right now, man. Let's see here. So let me scroll down here. Okay, so the next question that we have here is from Blaine Locklear. Says, hey, Nick, thanks for being here to support us creators. What brand of light sticks are you using in the background? They look great. So these are Godex. So, well, actually, it depends on what light sticks you're talking about. So if I switch to, when I did this, it actually turned my loop off. Interesting. Hold on really quick. Let me stop this. Let me hit loop and go. There we go. Okay. So, so if you're talking about the ones in back, these are Philips Hue lights that I went to the hardware store and I got, these are supposed to be like on the ceiling. But I went and I got those and I was like, instead of having the glow, instead of just having like the bare bulb, then I'm going to basically put the light strips and something like that. And then I'm going to have them on the wall back there. So it's just kind of like a thing that I put together for the ones there. For the light stick that's behind the TV, the light stick that is, let's see here, right over here that you see. Nope. There we go. For this one over here, those are Godex. And it's basically just like a light pole. And they're really cool. They make long ones, they make short ones, but they're really cool. That's why I'm behind the TV too. And they don't flicker because they're made for video. So they don't flicker because of like my voltage and all that good stuff here. Like you'll notice like a little bit of banding in the ones that are here. You don't see it in the light itself, but you'll see it in the reflection right here on this little cabinet. So so they're just like super clear. Let's see here. On our lifestyle channel. Okay, I think that has me caught up there on those, and then back into the chat. Thanks for the heads up on that, Doug. I appreciate it. So next up on our list here, we've got J&J Toy Giants. J&J Toy Giants, they make the content on an iPhone. The type of channel is a toy collecting and Twitch streaming channel. The goal of the channel is hobby and my son and I to do something together. Super cool. And the question is, I'm wondering if what advice you have about increasing our sub count. We have well over 300 videos, have 4,000 hours of watch time, and just crossed 100,000 views, but the sub count just hasn't moved and is still less than 200. What are we doing wrong? So in a lot of cases, that comes down to just people not being clear on what it is that you offer from the channel, or it's just not clear in terms of like the reason that they should subscribe. So, like for example, like some car channels run into something similar here to where they make like, how to repair your car. But instead of focusing on like a certain brand, they'll just do how to repair like all cars. And that particular type of channel, it's great. Tons of value comes out of that channel. They help tons of people, be able to fix their cars. But in terms of subscribing to that channel, let's say that you have a Honda and you watch that video to figure out how to like change your brakes, and then you change your brakes. Well, you don't need that channel anymore. Like there's no reason to subscribe to that channel because you've already figured out how to change your brakes. So, so because of that, I would just make sure that it's clear to that it's clear, the value that you're offering from your content, and that you're also making it clear in your videos. And you don't have to do this in the front. I actually don't recommend doing it in the front unless you have experience. But you also want to make sure that you're thinking of it from the perspective of like, hey, I gotta make sure I'm reminding people to subscribe, because like if your content's good and people are really engaged in what it is that you're doing, like we as YouTubers think about it, we think like, hey, like subscribe. It's just in our brains. But for civilians, for them, like they're just enjoying the content. They're not necessarily thinking like, oh, I got to subscribe. Should I subscribe to this channel? Is it good? I got to make sure I subscribe. So just giving that little bit of a nudge, like at the end of your video, because those are the people that are most engaged, giving that little nudge at the end while you have in-screen elements up on the screen saying, hey, if you enjoyed this video, I publish videos like this every week. Remember to subscribe. And then by doing that, you're just simply letting people know that the type of content that they just enjoyed in that video and they made it all the way into that video, that you put out content like that on a regular basis, right? So it's just kind of spreading that awareness through that call to action. But another part of this, I just looked at your channel. I see you're doing a lot of shorts as well. And with your content, I'm actually going to look right now. Okay, yeah, so I was going to see if like a lot of stuff driving your channel was shorts, but it's not. So yeah, you're good there. But some things though to think about is like here you have like a knock, 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 knock on wood thing. And there's not really like, anything going on there in terms of like what a viewer could possibly expect, from that particular video if they were here watching like your grand opening toy outlet video as an example. So just make sure that you're keeping things like that in mind. Make sure that you are not mixing in, right? Like if you have a toy channel, having like a try not to laugh challenge like you currently have, you're diluting what it is that you offer there. So like, for example, if somebody comes in and they have their try not to laugh challenge, and then like your next video is a toy video, or they hit your channel page, like, oh my gosh, this was a great try not to laugh challenge. I had a great time. I love this. This was fantastic. They click on your channel name and they land on your YouTube channel and they see these videos about, toys and this other stuff. Then you're immediately creating that disconnect. Same exact thing comes from this, Call of Duty Black Ops Twitch stream. Same exact thing, right? You got to get clear on what it is that you're offering on your YouTube channel and who it is that you're offering for, so that one, it'll help you with your content decisions, but two, so that the people that are interacting with your channel, that they can clearly see what it is that you're offering and they can clearly see the value that they're going to get from you. Because, for example, if somebody comes to your channel for like the toy content and then they get hit with like a Call of Duty Twitch stream, I guess this is like a repurposed Twitch stream, then if they get hit with that, then it's not something that they necessarily care about. Same thing with some of these shorts that you have, like some of these shorts are just not related to why aren't you in uniform, I'm singing, which is somebody just standing in a yard singing. Like those types of things are just they're not in alignment with what it is that you seem to be offering from your YouTube channel. So I would just get really clear on exactly what it is that you're offering, who it is that you're wanting to interact with the content, and I would just double down on serving that particular audience. Let's see here. So as we keep on going here, let's see here. So really quick, She Fires. Super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Says, thank you, Nick, for answering my question. My pleasure. That helps. Yes, I created a whole new channel and already have 1,000 subscribers now. I appreciate your knowledge. Congratulations to you on already knocking down that first 1,000 subscribers. Nice work. Let's see here. So Osborne Style says that they upload when they have time. They have a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to give entertainment to people. And the question is, how do you understand the YouTube studio? So when you go into your YouTube studio, it can be kind of overwhelming if you've never looked at something like that before. So what you have to do is you have to start watching videos on it. You have to, YouTube has like a whole help section where you can go there and you can look for information about, your YouTube channel, all the different features, things like that. They just published this. I think it was like last week or the end of the previous week, but they just published something called YouTube Tips, which is like a really stripped down, not really that awesome version of the Creator Academy. But they're going to be updating, adding more to it over time. But as of right now, it's just like a really stripped down, bare bones version of it. But even going in there and just looking through the information that they have about, YouTube Creator Studio and like what all the different things mean. Like that's how you learn things, is you dig into it. Just like if you have an app on your phone, you're trying to learn that, you get in there, you roll up your sleeves, you start clicking on stuff and start, trying to figure out what things mean, Googling the things that you don't understand until you can understand it, until you read enough or research it enough to understand it. That will, help you navigate the inside of the Creator Studio. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, we've got Liquor Camp. Liquor Camp says that they do liquor review and information. The goal of the channel is to have fun sharing reviews and social events around liquor. The question is, having a slow start picking up subscribers. I have 14. I've chosen to wait until 25 videos uploaded until I share with friends and family. Is that a good or a bad idea? Uploading around 1 video a week, 6 uploads now. So this is a really good question. Before I answer it,
if you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
So when it comes to deciding to share it with your friends and family, it's a personal choice, of course. But just a few things to think about is typically when we are when we are imagining how people are going to respond to what it is that we're doing, we typically will blow things out of proportion. It's just in our nature as human beings. So like one of the things that I did also when I first started the channel is nobody knew about it. So nobody in my personal life knew about it. My brother D, he didn't even know about it. I just kept it, just kind of under wraps. I was like, hey, let me just kind of do this thing and let me just kind of see what, see if I can, do anything with it, see how, people respond to it, see if I'm even going to keep doing this, like that type of thing before I let anybody see it. So the things that I was actually worried about in terms of sharing it with people, it didn't work out in the way that I thought it was going to work out. So what I thought was going to happen, in my very first video on my channel, if you go into my videos, you sort by the oldest videos there, and you go to my very first video, it's about how to overcome camera shyness, because that was a problem that I was dealing with at the time that I had to overcome in order to even get on YouTube in the first place. So one of the things that I mentioned in that video is that we often think to ourselves that, people are going to react in a certain way. And because of that, we'll hold back because of this image that we create in our own minds about how somebody else is going to react to what it is that we're doing. And, one of the things for me is I'm like, hey, if I share this with like my brother and friends and stuff like that, they're going to give me a hard time. Like, hey, aren't you a bit old to be on YouTube, or, like those types of things. So because of that, I was hesitant to do that because I was like, oh, they're just going to give me a hard time. So let me kind of avoid that. And plus, let me make sure it's something that I'll commit to or that I'll be doing, consistently. And when, I did show it to my brother, he was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Right. It was completely opposite of, of what I was expecting. I was expecting him to, give me a hard time because he's my brother. Right. It's what brothers do. But he was like, hey, this is really cool. And it just didn't go in the way that, that I thought it was going to go. So one thing that I just want to tell you, if you are, just a little bit, like cautious about it, is if you're being cautious because you just want to make sure you're going to keep doing it and you don't want to, kind of let the cat out of the bag and then end up, kind of being like, them saying like, hey, I didn't see a video from you for, a few weeks. And then you having to say like, oh yeah, I decided to quit. Like if you're doing it for that reason, then in that case, you might want to hold off. But if you're like, hey, like this is something that I'm going to do, then in that case, own it, share it with people, and just go ahead and just like, just start letting people know that that's what you're doing. And even if, and this is one of the things I mentioned in that first video too, even if people give you a hard time about it, that will just be initially. And then after a very short period of time, making videos is just going to be something that you do. And then everybody's just going to know that like, that's something that you do. And it's not going to be like a thing anymore. And so because of that, I would just go ahead and either let the cat out of the bag, or if you are reserving it just to make sure you're going to be consistent, you're going to keep doing it, stuff like that, then in that case, I might hold off a little bit. Let's see here. So next up on our list, and I just was getting ready to answer a super chat and it disappeared. So give me 1 second to check this other page here, and then we will see what is up there. So Super OG, love the channel name, says, when I don't live stream, I gain subscribers. When I live stream, I lose subs. Welcome to my life. Says, I don't understand why. I tested this over the past months. It makes no sense. Welcome to my life again. So when it comes to live streams, I'm in a similar boat. Like I bleed subscribers in these live streams, and that's fine for me because, my goal of these, like, here's something to think about when it comes to YouTube, and everybody should be thinking about this with every piece of content that you publish. Every video that you have is an opportunity for you to put something online and to have that piece of content work for you in some way. That some way can be a bunch of different things. But when you are trying to think of it from the perspective of like, okay, am I going to live stream or not? How many videos I'm going to be putting out, things like that. One of the things that you want to think about is like, okay, why am I putting these videos out? If I make this video and I publish this to YouTube, like, why am I going through this process? What's the purpose of this video? What am I trying to accomplish with this video? Yes, I'm trying to give people, a piece of content and add value to them and all that good stuff. But what kind of value? What specific value? Is there anything that you're wanting from it in return? And just start like being mindful of that and identifying those things. And it will kind of help you with problems like this because, like when it comes to like your live streams, when you are not streaming, you gain subscribers, but when you stream, you lose subscribers. Then what happens there is, like, hey, when I go live, good chance I'm losing subscribers here. So because of that, you have to make sure that you have a good purpose for your live stream that is not based around subscribers. If that's something that you're like, hey, I know I'm going to lose subscribers here. I'm trying to decide if I should keep live streaming or not. In that case, you got to make a purpose for your live stream. So like for me, my live streams, I bleed subscribers here, and that's fine with me because these live streams give me the opportunity to be able to answer your question right now in real time. Because this type of question, like, yeah, I could make a video about it. I could make like a short about it. But like, you know, the answer for this, it's not that long. So it doesn't really like warrant a video, but it's still a question that you have. And it's still a question that I believe that should be answered, and that you shouldn't just be like left like, hey, I would love to know the answer to this, or, you know, I would just like some feedback on this, but you know, you're just kind of like left out there. That's what these live streams are for, so that I can, you know, so that I can do that. So, so because of that, like I'll take the subscriber loss. I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because, you know, if they're unsubscribing because they're coming into a live stream and they don't enjoy that live stream for some reason, that's fine. I'm doing this for the people that are into this, right? So like for me, like if you know, for every person that leaves, as long as I remember that I'm serving the people that are here in the live stream, then, you know, the people that decide to go, like they can go, that's fine. Maybe I'll catch them on another video in the future or something like that. Maybe they'll keep watching some of the video content, but maybe they're just not going to stay subscribed to the channel. I'm totally okay with that because I understand the purpose of what these live streams are for. So what I recommend to you is that you do something similar and you think about it from that perspective of like, okay, why am I doing my live streams? What is it that I'm trying to get from my live streams? What's the value that I can bring my live streams? What do I get out of doing my live streams? Those types of things, so that you can, you know, just make sure that you do have that purpose behind, you know, what it is that you're doing and that intention behind what it is that you're doing. So that when you do run into those problems, that you can, you know, clearly navigate through them or easily navigate through them, because you already understand the purpose of all the different things that you're doing. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, I love saying that for some reason. I don't know why. I need to come up with like a list of other ways to say that. So, so next up here, we've got Heart to Heart Films says they are a lifestyle blogger. The goal of the channel is to grow more views and subscribers. The question is, hello, I've been on YouTube for over a year now and I get more views on my YouTube shorts. How do I get more views on my longer videos and also gain more subscribers? Who here in the chat right now, just say me, who here in the chat right now currently uploads YouTube Shorts? And I'll give you just a second to answer that one. Just say me if you do. And then if you do upload YouTube Shorts, if you are not getting results on your long form content, but you are getting results on your shorts, say me. And the reason I'm wanting some of this feedback is because of what I'm getting ready to say. So I can just make sure that I'm saying it in a way that's going to resonate with, you know, with as many of you as possible. Okay, so we got a handful of those coming in. Okay. So if you are currently uploading shorts to your YouTube channel and they are getting activity, but your long form content is not, here's the problem. When you upload long form content to YouTube, everything is based on performance, right? But when you upload long form content to YouTube, it doesn't just get presented to people as the actual content. People have to make a choice to click on your content wherever it is they see it on the platform. So because of that, not only do you have to be good at making videos, but you also have to have the skill sets, you have to develop the skill sets of learning how to get people to click on what it is that you're doing. That comes down to making good thumbnails, making, you know, compelling titles. So because of that, when you are uploading YouTube Shorts and you're getting a good response there, you might be really good at making short form content. You might be really good at making content, but you might have a hard time right now. You'll get there, but you might have a problem right now on getting people to click. So because of that, if you are getting views on your shorts content and you're not getting views on your long form content, the first thing that I would think about is like, okay, if I'm not getting any views, then that means like nobody's clicking on my stuff. But if you're getting like some views, but the videos just aren't performing that well, then that means that you're really good at making the short form content, at least to the point that it's competitive to where YouTube continues to show it to people and you continue to get views through your shorts. But for the long form content, you got to keep practicing that. You got to keep practicing getting people to click on it, getting people to watch it for longer periods of time, further engage with it and all of that, so that you can also start getting that performance on your long form content as well. Because, you know, the huge difference on TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts compared to long form content on YouTube is that with all the short form vertical content, when people swipe up, or not even short form, just that vertical content, any platform where they just show content to people and people don't have to choose to watch it, then what happens is you're just thrown in the mix, right? You just swipe up and, you know, and then you see something else, right? And then you just have to grab somebody's attention there. But when it comes to long form content, like it's a whole other game because you have this whole other barrier, this whole other wall that you have to jump over. And that comes down to understanding your audience, understanding how to make things clear, understanding how to use imagery in a way that's going to help, grab attention in that particular thumbnail, learning how to write titles that are informative and or compelling. Those types of things are the difference between, content performing well in YouTube Shorts and long form content. In addition to that, you also have that YouTube has been online for a really long time, and they have an entire archive of content that is long form content. And by long form, I just mean not vertical, 60-second or less content. And on their shorts, even though it's also getting flooded, I think they get like 1 billion views a month or something like that on shorts. But even though it's getting flooded with content creators like uploading content there, the amount of shorts, they're not even like, in terms of competition wise, it's not even remotely close to the amount of available long form content. So, you have all these different things at play, but at the end of the day, like it really comes down to, just that extra thing that you got to learn how to do. So if you are getting, results in your short form content, keep making short form content and also start using some of the things that you're learning in making your short form content and start applying some of that stuff to your long form content as well to keep people watching. And then of course, learn how to get people to click and watch what it is that you're doing. So here, next up on our list here, we've got A to Z by Local Bus. Says they do documentary content. The goal of the channel is to record the history of bus routes in Britain and Ireland as it happens. That's pretty cool. And the question is, if you use music from YouTube and the music is no longer available to use for free later on, can you end up getting a copyright strike on the video later on for using music that was once part of the YouTube library of music when you made the video? You might get a claim on it, but you shouldn't get a strike. So like claims, like you don't want claims, but like they happen. Like claims happen just like if somebody uses like a melody of like another song, or if they use something in the YouTube audio library and they don't give like the right attribution. If it's something that requires attribution, you can get a claim on it, that kind of stuff. But claim is just like where they're claiming the revenue from it. But a strike is where they're like causing damage to your channel because you only get 3 strikes and then your channel's gone. But you can have, like tons of, copyright claims and it's not that big of a deal. In terms of the channel, right? Like you don't want them, but in terms of like the channel, like everything's going to keep moving if you get a copyright claim. But if you start getting, strikes, then you just need 3 and you're done within a 90-day period. So because of that, in this situation, you should end up with like a claim, not necessarily a strike, if there's even a problem, right? So just keep that in mind. But I encourage you, instead of using the YouTube audio library, Creator Mix. It's right up here. It's pinned at the very top of the chat for the YouTube channel. You see the graphic right up here at the top of the screen as well. But I'll actually switch that graphic to this one where it's a little bit more in your face. But if you're wanting music for your videos, just head over to Creator Mix. We've got it for you. We've got it for you for free over there, so that you can so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got Euphemia Alden. Hope I'm saying that correct. If I apologize if I'm not. Says, your stream helps a lot. Thanks. I'm more of a writer storyteller than a YouTuber. Just a heads up though, like writing and storytelling is a huge part of YouTube. Like for my type of content, you can do it in my type of content too. Like if you go and watch Ed at Film Booth, he takes like the type of information that I share and he does it around he does like the storytelling method of this type of content. But like storytelling and writing, that's a huge part of YouTube for like entertainment channels, for documentary channels, for all types of different types of channels. So if you're a good storyteller, then like YouTube is perfect for you. But you say I have some up as text animations. I'm tricking people into reading. LOL, I don't want to be on camera and use my own voice. Any suggestions? So they do have the robo voices and things like that. You can also hire voiceover artists and that sort of thing. But another side of this is that, and there's also, there's channels that are silent in terms of they don't have any words at all. They'll just be like music and taking people through, like a visual story. Like there's that as well. And some of those channels are huge. But when it comes to, not wanting to be on camera, not wanting to use your voice, you can do that, by putting words on the screen and stuff like that. But you got to remember, like this is a video platform. And of course, like there are channels that do that and they get a lot of views on them. But like as a whole though, like if you're just coming into this now, like, there's like, it's a video platform where people are coming here to like, be entertained. They're coming here to like learn stuff. They're coming here to, to engage with the different personalities on YouTube and stuff like that. And, when you're putting out that type of content, like, it can do okay. But I mean, like if you don't want to be in any of it, then in that case, I think you are kind of limiting yourself in terms of, people connecting to like you and like all of that stuff. I mean, you can do it with animations, like, don't get me wrong, but like the difference is like, using a voice or not. So I would definitely either hire somebody or I would use some type of like robo voice or something. And when you do the robo voices, just keep in mind that in some cases, YouTube can look at those as like a content farm. So like, I'm sure you've seen the videos be presented to you. If not, you will, of people like, like, hey, this meditation channel, that's been on YouTube for 10 years. This meditation channel has been on YouTube for 10 years, has, millions of subscribers on it. They're making, this much money. All you have to do is start a meditation channel, go to this website, download these stock images, grab some music, put this chill music here, and then just upload it to YouTube, and you'll make, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. I'm sure you've seen those videos. If you haven't, you will. But basically, the whole thing there is that's created an epidemic of people, doing something like that, to where they're just using like robo voices and they're just putting up all of this like content that isn't really like content per se. And because of it, it's causing complications of people actually getting monetized that are doing those sorts of things, because it can be looked at like it's one of those are called cash cow channels. If you're, if you want to dig deeper into that, but basically when you are, doing those types of things, it can be seen like it's like it might be a cash cow channel. And if it is one of those things, then it might end up making monetization a little bit complicated for you. But I'm not saying to stop. I'm not saying not to do it, but I'm just saying like, just be mindful of that, because one thing that you'll see is if you go to like the YouTube community forums, which everybody here, you should have that as like a default open when you open up your browser if you're on a computer. Because basically what you're going to see there is you're going to see you open it up every day, and you're going to see people like, oh, my channel got terminated. My channel got terminated. My channel got terminated. I've been working on YouTube for a year making this animated content, and now I can't get, monetized because, they think it's like a cash cow channel. Like you're going to see like all this stuff listed there where people are having all these problems. But I recommend like everybody, you have that as part of your, when your browser opens, just have that stuff open up as a default part of that. Keeps you on top of stuff. Okay, so as we keep on going here, as we keep on going through this list, next up on our list today, we have It's Kashini is next up on our list. It's Kashini says they do travel content. It's niche content. The goal of the channel is sharing travel vlogs with viewers and share tips and tricks on how to create travel content. The question is, hey Nick, I was trying to sign up to Creator Mix to use a track. It kept saying incorrect CAPTCHA. I tried again a few times in vain. I was typing the right text, so I'm a bit confused. Hope you can help me with this question, and thanks in advance. So if that happens, I would just refresh your browser or just try another browser, just because it might be like getting cached in there or something like that. But I think D is listening right now. So if he is or if he isn't, I'll pass that along to him, because, we take note of things like that so that we can, just double check on our end and make sure everything's working correctly. So thank you so much for letting me know that. But if you could just shoot me an email through my business inquiry email on my About Me page, shoot me an email there, let me know your email address, and then I can look at it, on our side and just see if there's any issues there as well. Oh, there he is. He's right there in the chat. So D. So let's see here. So they were trying to sign up on Creator Mix and they kept getting an incorrect CAPTCHA, even though they were doing it correctly. So they were just putting that out there. So I wanted to pass that on to you, which we just did. So there, D has that, and we'll see what's up there. So thank you for that heads up. Roger Wakefield says, hello, D. I got to say, so the guard was here. Those of you that know Vigard, he was here just the other day. So, he was here hanging out. He was hanging out for like 3-4 days, I think, here in Chiang Mai. My brother came back, as well. So it's been like one of those weeks. We had a great week. This is like the best week I've had in like 2 years. Oh, it's great. So let's see here. So next up on our list, we have Magic Flying Potato Survival Gaming. Nice. Says, let's see here, gaming channel. The goal is to creating help content for gamers that need help in survival games and have fun. Question. First off, thank you so much for all your help. I went from less than 600 subscribers my first 2 years to closing in on 1,800 in the 11 months being part of the Nimminati. My question is, been deep in that creator slump or creator depression where one does not even feel like turning on the computer. How do you handle getting out of that mindset to climb out and get back into the creator groove? Side note, being able to hang out on lives definitely helps to motivate me. Thanks again. So this is a serious issue. A lot of content creators go through this, Brad. And this is where like having that like purpose and, things like that in terms of like, like that thing, like, this is like, I'm trying to serve in this way. And through that particular purpose, it just kind of helps keep you driven there. But even with those types of things, it's like everybody has those moments in time to where it's like, like I just don't want to do the thing, or, like I've just done it so much that it's like just not engaging. So now I got to start changing the way that I do it so that I'm a little bit more challenged, things like that. But if you are in a slump, I've actually been reading or listening to an audiobook, and I really recommend this audiobook to anybody. And I don't know this person, I don't know this author, anything like that, but I just want to share this because it's been great so far. I'm not done with it, but it's called At Your Best. I'm like 34% in right now, but it's called At Your Best. It's by Carrie Nile-Wolf, but it's right here. That's what it looks like. This one right over here. So I really recommend that you check out this book. Like if you are kind of in that place right now to where you're feeling like burned out and you're feeling like you're just feeling like just not doing the thing. Like I really recommend that you check out that book, just because for me, listening to it, because I'm listening to it right now as well. And just a lot of really good insights in there, a lot of actionable things as well in terms of, just being very mindful of your time and literally charting your time, figuring out, where you're the most productive, throughout the day, where you're the least productive throughout the day, figuring out the things that are the most important to you and, where you can give them time, things like that. Really, really great book so far. So I really recommend that you check that out, and hopefully you find it helpful. But Brad, man, look, dude, because we're, like you can reach out to me directly on Volley. So like at any time, if you're like, if you're just like, man, I just don't feel like doing the thing or whatever, like shoot me a message. You're a channel member, shoot me a message and just be like, hey, you got any uplifting words for me? And I'm sure I can come up with something to hopefully, get you started that day. But, what you're dealing with is a real thing, creator burnout, creator depression, because, like, I'm just going to talk about this for 1 second. So within this, there's a lot of things that go on. So, hey, Investing with Matt, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. So there's a lot of things going on in terms of, like once you start publishing content, right? Like when you have like a brand new channel and you're like excited about it and you're just coming on here, it's like, like it's everything, right? Like it can be. I mean, everybody comes at this with a different thing, but it's like really exciting. And, you're starting to have people comment and you're starting to build your community. It's like, oh, this is amazing, right? And it can, it can like, get to you like, this is great. And you kind of get like a charge off of it. And then like after a period of time, it can start to flip a little bit to where you start feeling pressure, to where it goes from like, hey, this is exciting and uplifting and all that stuff to like, hey, now I'm starting to feel pressure. I feel I have this pressure to perform. I have this pressure to make sure that I upload on a regular basis. I have this pressure to make sure that my content's at a certain level. And then like the bigger your audience gets, it's like the bigger that pressure starts sitting on you. So, just embracing that and acknowledging it like, hey, this is like, this is part of that pressure. And since I know that pressure is going to be a part of what it is that I'm doing, I can just acknowledge that and say like, hey, this is part of the thing, but I'm not going to let that pressure stop me. I'm still going to, keep moving forward with what it is that I'm doing by simply just acknowledging that, that this stuff does come with pressure. It does come with that, it does come with deadlines, comes with pressure. It comes with, all of those things. Of course, the deadlines are loose based on, your own publishing cadence and things like that. But if you're like serious about it, those deadlines, like you got to hit them. Like you just got to keep publishing. It's part of the, like when you stop publishing, then you're not doing the thing anymore, right? So you have to stay on the hamster wheel in some capacity, in order to keep everything moving. But in terms of that, that pressure that can jump on you, like it can relatively quickly go from like, hey, this is like super exciting to like, hey, it's exciting still, like it's great, but like now I've got like this pressure. And then when you start getting that pressure, then it can kind of start changing things. And in some case, it can be kind of, I don't know if debilitating is the right word, but basically it can just make you feel like, like, man, like these videos have to, like all of them have to hit. And if they don't, then, then I'm going to be like, you're going to like feel, some type of thing because of it. So So just know all of that. But when it comes to, getting through all of that though, that book is great. Meditation is also, fantastic. I know some people are like weird about meditation. But I still, I recommend it to everybody. Like meditation is amazing. So I recommend that, that particular book. I recommend also Simon Sinek's Start With Why. That's another really great book as well. In terms of just like the purpose and, trying to figure out like, what is it that I'm really trying to do with this stuff? Like, making content's cool. But the content gives me an opportunity to be able to reach people and impact people in some way. So, be through that particular chain and the stuff that comes back too, like through all of that, what is it that I'm really, what is that I'm really trying to do? What is it that I'm really doing this for? And, the more clear you can get on that, the easier it's going to be. But I mean, you still run into those problems though. Like Sean was in here earlier, I'm sure, he's ran into those problems. I run into those problems. There's times where you just don't, where it's just like, I don't want to do the thing, but you just gotta, you gotta do the thing. You only fail when you give up. That's what they say. So let's see here. Ragtag says that they do gaming content. The next goal is 1 million subscribers, currently at 425,000. Congratulations to you. And the question is, at the start of the year, I dropped to longer videos, but to once a week. Views are up, and I've gone from 70,000 average to 155 to 300,000 per video, but retention has gone from 60 to 70% to 38 to 42%. How can I get this back up? I feel like the videos are better put together than before, but I feel like I'm missing something. Average bids were 12 to 16 minutes and are now 20 to 35 minutes. Is that too much? I shouldn't complain because I'm doing well, but I always want to improve. So this is a fantastic question, Ragtag. And this is also something that I just want to bring attention to in terms of what we were just talking about. Like Ragtag here, they have 20 something thousand subscribers on their YouTube channel. And they're like, hey, retention, I'm having like retention problems, like what's going on? It's like, this is all stuff that, that we have to, deal with as creators. But in terms of your view duration going down, one thing I want to let you know is that when you are publishing content, people are responding to it, at a high rate like you're getting right now. When people are responding to it at that high rate, when people come into your videos, like when it's that core, okay, let's do it this way just so everybody can, be a part of this conversation. So basically, when you publish your videos, right? Let's say you upload a video right now and you publish that video. The first thing that happens, and this is all according to YouTube, the first thing that happens is YouTube basically looks at who's online right now. Who's on the platform right now that would be a great fit for this content based on the other content that they are watching and based on the other content they're interacting with, the stuff they're watching, not watching, liking, all that good stuff, and other users on the platform, the things that they are responding to, not responding to, and so on, that are similar to this particular user. So then what happens is when you first publish a video, YouTube's going to show it to those people that are going to be the most likely to watch and enjoy that content. So that's typically some of your subscriber base, some of the people that have recently interacted with your videos, things like that. So because of that, when you first publish a video, typically your metrics will be higher. So, because those are the people that are most likely to be engaged in what it is that you're doing. But as that progresses through time, if it's a good video and people are enjoying it, which in your case they are, if it's a good video and people are enjoying it, the next thing that happens is it goes out to another group. And then if they enjoy it, it goes out to another group. But as these groups expand, even though they're still predicting these people are likely to enjoy it, the likelihood of them enjoying it also decreases. And they still keep doing that, but as people keep responding, then they're going to keep showing it. So since the likelihood of them starts decreasing and they're not the people at that core that are going to be the most engaged, then what can start happening is your click-through rate can start plummeting and your average view duration can start plummeting as well, because those people they're just not as engaged as that initial group. So what you're experiencing right now is actually a relatively normal thing with your YouTube channel in terms of, in your click-through rate, if you look at that, there's a really good chance that one's also suffering in a similar way, when your videos are doing well. What you're dealing with right now, though, that's like a normal side of YouTube. Now, of course, going in, because you are getting data at scale, which is a huge win. So going in your particular case and looking and seeing, you're like, hey, at scale, This is how people are responding to it. And then trying to make the adjustments, taking notes in all of your videos, your audience retention, all that stuff, so that you can start to figure out at scale how people are responding, and then start modifying your thing for users at scale instead of modifying things for that core group. Then one of the things that can happen there is that might be able to help you make better content. So this could be a really good opportunity for you to go through your audience retention, since your videos are getting a decent amount of views on them, going through and getting a better understanding of how people are responding to your content at scale, so that you can start modifying things to create that better experience for them. But even then, you're still going to end up in a situation to where, as the people get less and less likely to be like a perfect fit for the content, to where some of those people that come in, they're just going to watch it for, a shorter period of time, just based on the nature of the thing. So just keep that in mind. But, all of us, even though you're doing well, all of us can always improve all the time. So, because of that, just keep in mind that, you are taking that, that loss. I mean, it's a win, but it's a loss at the same time. You know what I mean? But basically, like, you're taking that right now. But you can use this as an opportunity to figure out how people, are responding to your stuff at scale. Because now, you get a lot more data than you did back when you had, let's say if you're getting, 10,000 views a video, you have a lot more data to work with now, which can help you paint a clearer picture on, on the things that people respond to well and the things that they don't. In terms on the video length, as long as people are responding to them, because of course, the 12 to 16 minutes versus the 20 to 35 minutes, that's also obviously going to impact your average view duration as well. So, that also is going to be a big part of that, retention drop. As long as you're not talking about it, that retention drop happening on the same length of videos, that part of it is also going to be, it's also going to cause that to happen. However, like if you are getting that positive response, then I would just keep doing that. If it's the longer videos that are getting that, better response, then I would keep doing those. If it's the shorter 12 to 16 minute ones that are getting the better response, then I would try to do more of those, or keep that as kind of like your window, so to speak. Pat's Beer Garage, hopefully that was helpful. Pat's Beer Garage says, is it bad to upload too often? I've been uploading shorts almost daily, full beer reviews every other few days. So uploading shorts, no, you're fine. Like uploading shorts every day, totally fine. Totally fine. But what I would recommend that you do, since you are, on that daily grind, I would also repurpose that content. Anybody that's making shorts, like if you can, I would take that short content, I would put it on TikTok, I would put it on Instagram Reels as well, because, you might be surprised. You might be able to grow a following in those places as well. So you can expand your brand across platforms instead of, just putting all of your eggs in the YouTube basket. Because you're a content creator as well as a YouTuber. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, said it again. Sarah's Soap says they do soap making content. Goal of the channel is to create a side income with different income streams, not only AdSense. The question is, I'm about to cross 9,000 subscribers. High five and fist bump to you. Nice work. But the ad revenue has not increased much more than when I had much less subscribers. I'd like to understand the reason for it. Is it a matter of CPM and why? Love your podcasts or live streams. I listen to it every week. Thank you for the kind words. So when it comes to you not getting more ad revenue for the amount of views, or for the subscriber change, your ad rates don't change based on the amount of subscribers you have. Your ad rates are determined based on where people are viewing from, ad inventory, the topics of your videos, those types of things. So because of that, it's possible, because you say that you're about to cross 9,000 subs, but the ad revenue hasn't increased much. So I'm not sure when you started the channel, how long you've been doing this for. Let's see here. It looks like you've been going for a year or more. Okay, so one thing you might want to look at is like around this time, right? Like last year, go and look at your stats historically and see if your ad rates, kind of go like this. Because if they do, then, just make sure that you are paying attention to the cycle that you happen to be on. Because typically, and of course this is different in different niches, but typically like at scale around the holidays, people typically make more in ad revenue because there's a lot more people advertising. Right now, there's a lot going on in the world. And because there's a lot going on in the world, there's still tons of people advertising, but it's just not as, it might not be as aggressive as, it would typically be under normal circumstances. So, we have that we're dealing with too. So, just keep those things in mind, but I would go through and just look historically to see if you typically, see if you run into like a similar thing every single year or not, in terms of, how often you're getting it. But subscribers are not what determines your ad rates. It's your content, the topics of your videos, who it is that's watching those videos in terms of, demographically, and the competition for those particular terms. Ragtag says, thank you so much. No matter how much anyone grows, I think wanting to know more and learn from experts like yourself makes the YouTube journey more worthwhile. Love your content. Thank you again. My pleasure. Glad that was helpful for you, and glad that you enjoy the content. Thank you. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, we've got Going Green Mom. It's like almost a tongue twister. Says, helping people find some hope with histamine intolerance. The goal of the channel, because when I started the bulk, the advice was to starve yourself, and I look like food. Oh, and I like food. I want to monetize, but overreaching goal is to help people figure out how to get better. The question: what's your take on using a template, not mass market template, for thumbnails? Most important components to include if creating one, etc. So when it comes to templates, the downside of templates is this. One, if you start using a template before you figure out what's effective for the people that you're trying to reach, then you're committing to something that's ineffective. I'm going to say that again. If you start using templates for your thumbnails before you figure out what's effective for your channel in terms of the things that cause the people that you're trying to reach to click on what it is that you're doing, if you commit to a template before you do that, then you could be cutting yourself off right there from the possibility of growth, because you are committing to a template based on what it looks like, not based on the effectiveness of that template to get people to click. Okay. So make sure you're thinking about that. The second the second downside of using templates is that when you use a template, thumbnail templates typically, they will not necessarily like focus on like imagery and things like that. So, they'll be like, it'll be like a whole thumbnail full of like text and that sort of thing. And in some cases that's fine. But in other cases, it's way better to focus on imagery. So because of that, what I recommend that you do right now is, instead of going and just saying like, hey, I'm just going to start using templates for all my thumbnails, I recommend that you make unique thumbnails for every video that you publish, so that you can start to understand what your viewers respond to and what they don't. And in addition to that, I would also make sure that when you are doing that you are practicing in terms of like text, in terms of the imagery that you're using and things like that, but you're practicing clarity in terms of how, if like the person that I'm trying to reach, if my thumbnail were to just show up on their homepage, or if it were to just show up being recommended next to another piece of content, or if it were to just show up in a home feed, how easy would it be for the person that I'm trying to reach with my content to identify that this video might be something that they're interested in, right? That's the thing that you want to focus on. And then from there, once you get that part down, you're like, okay, I can get people to click. Then from there, that's where you want to start thinking of like, okay, how can I be more compelling? How can I use the thumbnail and title together as a team to win the click, in order to like really amplify the compellingness of a thumbnail, that type of stuff. But for now, I would like, while you're deciding on using templates or not, I recommend that you make a unique thumbnail for every video that you publish until you find out, what works the best. And even then you still should. But if you're like, hey, I want to, just kind of, coast on some of my stuff, which I don't recommend, but if you want to, then in that case, I would just build your template around what's the most effective, and also make sure that template remains effective. So one of the things on my YouTube channel that I used to do is I had a image of me going like this, right? With like a notebook thing here. That thumbnail crushed for a really long time, and I used it over and over and over again for a really long time. After a period of time, once we started getting click-through data, things like that, once YouTube made that information available to us, they were still good for a while, but then they started kind of falling off. And in terms of why, I don't know. It could be just because people might have thought they watched those, whatever, but people just stopped responding to them as much as some of the other thumbnails that I was doing. So because of that, I'm like, okay, well, let's kind of retire these for now. We can bring them back at any time, but for now, I'm just going to retire these, and I'm just, of course, going to lean on the things that that are working. So if you look at my channel, you're going to see specific photos that I use that I figured out works over time. You're going to see specific placements. You're going to see things like that I've just figured out over time that people typically respond to. Now, of course, another thing to think about is that, the topics of your videos also make a really big difference on if people's going to click on them or not. So like when you're looking at the effectiveness of stuff, you have to do it across videos instead of just, saying like, hey, this thumbnail style worked for this one video, because it could have been where YouTube showed it. It could have been, the topic of the video itself. Your title could have carried most of the weight on that, those sorts of things. So you got to make sure it's something that you can replicate before you commit to it as well. But at the end of the day, learning through experimentation, what people will respond to and what they won't is going to do more for you than anything else that you can do on your channel. So because of that, right now I wouldn't use a template. I would focus most on experimentation through unique thumbnails for every single video that you publish. John Dimitri. Of course, you can do, once you figure that out, though, you can build, like your own thumbnail templates to where they're a little bit recognizable and stuff like that. But first, figure out what's effective. Oops, I don't know why I did that. Don Dimitri says they upload when they have time. They do guitar lessons. The goal is to help people play songs. That's why I did that. I meant to hit this one.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right, Coin Crew, what's up? Nice to see you in the chat today. Hope that you are doing. Hope that you're doing fantastic. So, the Guitar Lessons channel says the goal of the channel is to help people play songs and guitar. The question is, in DuckDuckGo search results from my celebrity skin guitar lesson, it shows one of the 3 YouTube pre-made thumbnails, which I never selected, instead of the thumbnail I made. How's this even possible? I have no idea. I don't use that search engine. I have no idea how they present things. I have no idea what's going on there. So I have no clue. Wish I could help you with that one, but unfortunately I have no, I don't even know where to start on that particular question. Kristen Miller says that they do weight loss journey content. The goal of the channel is to help and inspire others who are wanting to lose a significant amount of weight. And the question is, what's a good average view duration? How do I improve it? Is that number important? That number is extremely important because it's a quality indicator. So one of the things that YouTube is trying to do is they are trying to figure out, hey, if somebody watches this, do they enjoy it? When this video is finished, is this something that they leave feeling good about? Or just do they enjoy it in some way? Are they satisfied with this content as the language they use? So when you are publishing your content, average view duration is a great signal to YouTube. If people watch your videos for a longer time, it's a great signal to YouTube that people are enjoying what it is that you're doing. And then if you stack on top of that, another thing that is a great signal for YouTube is, let's say somebody gets to the end of your video and then they decide to click on one of your end screens and watch more of your content. Then what does that tell YouTube? Wow, they're watching more than one video here. They must really like this content. If they subscribe to your channel in that process somewhere, wow, they subscribe here too. They probably want more. They left a comment. Wow, they're engaged too. They hit the like button. Wow, they're really getting into this stuff. They've done everything. They added to a playlist. Well, wow, this is great. They shared it with a buddy, right? They took that link, they share it, somewhere else. YouTube's like, hey, they're subscribing. They watched this video for a long period of time. They clicked on an in-screen video, watched that one, subscribed to the channel on that video. They liked it. They shared it out on their social media accounts. This person loves this content, right? So all these things, they paint the picture to YouTube on how people enjoy what it is that you're doing. But in terms of a good average view duration, so if you are going for, and Leela is asking this right now, average percentage viewed or average view duration, the answer to that question is yes. So I was in a call recently that was hosted by Christoph, I always mess his name up, Goodrow, who is the vice president of engineering for YouTube. And they actually asked him about this in that conversation too. And his actual question or his actual answer for that was something along the lines. And of course, I'm paraphrasing here, kind of putting it into my own words, so to speak. But basically his response to that was kind of what I was just talking about in terms of if somebody watches a high percentage of a video, then, that shows that they really enjoyed the content. If they watch it for a long time, right? Let's say you have a 10-minute video, somebody watches for 6 minutes, then, that's a really great signal in terms of percentage viewed and in terms of the amount of watch time that you got for that. So because of that, those are both great satisfaction signals for YouTube. However, let's say you have a 30-minute video and you only have people watching for 4 minutes or 5 minutes or 6 minutes. Let's say they watch for 10 minutes. Let's say you have an hour-long video and they watch for 10 minutes. That's still a considerable amount of watch time for YouTube. And that's also a huge commitment for people to spend 10 minutes on your video as well. And that can, in some cases, that can also be something to where YouTube can also deem that as a satisfactory experience for their viewers as well. But for a lot of people, we're making videos that are somewhere between, 5 and 20 minutes. So for everybody that's making that type of content, if you're making a 5-minute video, try to get your average view duration as high as you possibly can, or your percentage viewed as high as you possibly can, because, and by high as possibly can, I would shoot for minimum 60%, try to go 70 if you can, 80 if you can. If you're making a 10-minute video, try to go for as your bottom, try to hit 50%, and try to have that as the thing that you're going for in 10-minute videos. And then for everything on top of that, that's where you can start getting a little bit looser. But for 5 to 10-minute videos, get them as high as you possibly can, because, you know, those are huge satisfaction signals to YouTube, and average percentage viewed and average view duration are both very big factors in terms of YouTube recommending your content and them identifying if somebody's satisfied with your content or not. Cultivation Growth Talks from a Veteran says, I get it. My name is too long. It is. No, it's actually not too bad. If you just did Growth Talks from a Veteran, you'd probably do fine. But says, what do you think about shortening my channel name? How do I roll that out for the 2 people who already follow and search for my show content? So all you have to do is just change the name. And once you change the name, you could really just do Growth Talks from a Veteran if you wanted to. But basically once you make that name change, then, you know, it's going to change, but people will still get recommended your content if they've engaged with your content and they enjoy it. So this is another thing. Just a quick side thing on YouTube is, like, you know, a lot of people, they get really concerned about things like this. Like, oh, if I change my name, then like nobody's going to be able to find my content. The thing with YouTube's recommendation system is they know who is interacting with your content. So it's about your content, right? It's not about the name of your channel. It's about your content. So if you change the name of your channel and you are publishing the same type of content and you have the same, you know, thumbnails that you're, you know, able to get people to click and all that, then what's going to happen is YouTube is still going to continue to show your videos to those people that are engaged in your channel, if they're subscribed or not. Right? If they're watching your videos, if they're subscribed or not, YouTube's going to keep showing them your content. So a great example of this, we were, and I'm still getting chased around by this genealogy content. So in our members live streams, we look at YouTube channels, and, you know, we basically have feedback on, you know, the things people are doing. And within that, I spent some extra time on a genealogy channel from Amy's channel. And when I was on that channel, the next day I logged into YouTube and I'm just seeing all this genealogy content. And this was like 2 weeks ago, and they're still showing me genealogy content. Now it's crossed from like her channel. Now they're showing me like genealogy content from like different genealogy channels and stuff. But in terms of their recommendation system, if you change your channel name, no sweat. Like, they're still going to recommend your content to the right people, and that's where you win, right? So if they subscribe, if they don't subscribe, whatever, as long as you give a great experience for people, then in that case, YouTube's going to continue to show your content to them. But you want them to subscribe, of course, because, you know, you want to get play buttons, you want to unlock certain YouTube features, get into the partner program, all that stuff. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to situations like this, where you're, you know, where you're talking about changing your channel name, like, don't even worry about it, right? Like, don't even worry about that being an issue, because YouTube's recommendation system is good enough to still show your content to the right people. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down the list, hey, nothing wrong at all, Amy, with genealogy content. As a matter of fact, here's another one too. Yeah, we got genealogy content all over the place here. But one of the things, you know, because I looked at your channel, like, you know, like, they're showing me like genealogy content like crazy. It's funny. Not just looked, but, you know, we spent some time on there. I think we clicked into like a handful of videos and stuff. So it's like, YouTube's like, he's looking at genealogy, but we're going to try to get him to watch a genealogy video. 30-day reviews. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. Nice to see you in here. So let's see here. So as we keep on going through our list here, next up, question number 30. We're crushing these today, even though we had a power outage. Like, we are moving through these today. This is great. So, and we're going to hop into the chat for some of these here, here in just a little bit. But Just the Best of Everything is the name of this channel. The kind of channel is trying different things to see what works best. The goal of the channel is to be a successful YouTuber. The question is there a cap on views for small channels? I will have a video getting tons of views in the short shelf, and then when it hits 4K, it stops and no more views. Every video I upload, the most views that I can get is 3,000 to 4,000, and then the view goes to 0. 1 minute, 100 people are watching, and the next minute, 0 people. So they don't throttle, so to speak, but what they do is test. So like, when you first publish a piece of content, and you see this in your impression data for like long form content, but when you first publish your videos, like, YouTube is testing it all over the place, because their system is trying to figure out who the people are that are going to respond to it the best. So because of that, you know, that's why having that new tag on your video, publishing on a regular basis, is a good thing, because then it constantly keeps you in that thing of YouTube trying to show you to all these different people that, you know, can come in and decide to enjoy your content. But when it comes to the shorts, it's a little bit different because there, you know, they test it in front of the, you know, they'll test it in front of the different audiences there. But it's more, you know, happening like right there in the shelf. So then like as people, you know, stop responding to it or whatever, then that's where you'll see it kind of curve off. So basically as you're going through that testing period, they'll be putting it in front of a bunch of different people. And then some of those people respond, some of them won't. But then as more and more start to not respond, that's where you'll see those, curve off. Next. Spectrum Art Studio says they've been making videos for a year or more. They do art tutorials. The goal of the channel is to help people improve their art skills. The question is, I've changed direction on my channel slightly in that I used to make contact on several productions, but I'm now focused on oil painting. However, I have pretty much always been focused on portraits with reviews of art products along the way. I have 5 clips, all colored pencil, 3 reviews, which pretty much dominate my view count. And one of them I made 15 months ago. My new oil painting content is not getting views on this scale. Should I unlist the colored pencil reviews? So if you, this is where like understanding what it is you're trying to do with your channel comes in like to play big time. Because, you know, like for example, if you're like, you know, trying to grow the channel, doing reviews and doing art, then in that case, you know, keeping that video up there is good so that, you know, YouTube will show, you know, like more of your review stuff to people that are into reviews. And then of course, some of your art stuff, you know, into the people that are into the art stuff as well. But when you are, if you are only doing art and you're not doing any review stuff anymore, then in that case, you might want to consider taking that down. But keep in mind, there will be an immediate impact on that. Sometimes it can help kind of springboard you. But in other cases, you know, it can kind of bring you to a halt, so to speak. Because one thing that you got to think about as well is before you make that change, before you go and delete that video or before you unlist it, one thing that I recommend that you do is that you do go into your analytics and you start looking at your click-through rate. You look at your click-through rate on the different surfaces or on the different traffic sources. You want to make sure that you're looking at your average view duration of your videos and things like that, and looking at the actual content and your ability to get people to click on that content before you think that it's that other video, because it's easy to default like, hey, this video is bringing in all the views, so it makes sense that, you know, that particular audience is coming in isn't necessarily a great fit for my oil content. Like I understand that, and I believe that you're probably on the right track there. However, it could also be that, you know, when people go into your oil painting content, they just don't stick around. Like whoever they show it to, they just don't stick around for a long period of time, or people just aren't clicking on your oil painting content, you know, that much when YouTube shows it to people, and therefore it's not performing for that reason, even though they might be showing it to the right people. So because of that, before you decide to make that type of commitment, in terms of, you know, deleting stuff or unlisting it, I would make sure that you do go in and you look at the performance of those things so that you can see, is the content just not performing well, or do I like, you know, or can I kind of, you know, confirm in some way that, you know, this particular content has nothing to do with the content I'm doing now, and therefore, you know, maybe YouTube is just showing it to the wrong people. Doug, I see your message and I'm going in there right now. Thank you. Okay, so Doug says that I had a super chat or some super chats that I missed. So I'm going to go in here and grab these here really quick. So let's see here. We've got that one. Let me scroll on down the list here. We got Chief Fires. We've got that one taken care of. Demon Row.
Super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. Says, what do you do now at 800,000 that you weren't doing at 100,000? I'm growing a lot. I did the playlist like you said. Good. Awesome to hear that you did the playlist. Fantastic. So for me personally, I'm actually in the process right now of refiguring out what I'm going to be doing into the future. So I'm thinking of actually doing a slight pivot here. So basically, I used to do a lot of tool stuff and then like, you know, YouTube stuff from time to time in terms of YouTube growth stuff. And I enjoyed that, but you know, just over time, I've just kind of transitioned more into like every video is about like growing on YouTube. And I'm actually considering kind of going back in the other direction of doing like the tools and stuff. I like to fiddle with stuff. I like to figure out tech. I like to, you know, figure out all the live streaming stuff. I like to, you know, figure out all of those types of things. And I enjoy that. And I've got so much YouTube help content on my channel that, you know, any problem that somebody has, they can, you know, mostly go through my live streams or my video content and they can find an answer to it. So because of that, I'm considering doing less like how to grow on YouTube, how to get subscribers, how to get views, like that type of stuff. Doing less of that and going more in the direction of doing some more tool content as well. Because, you know, you guys as content creators, you know, like you can hang out in the live stream and you can hear, you know, all the different things, you know, in terms of, you know, growing your channel. But, you know, there's other things that you need help with too, you know, and that's where some of that other content shined in terms of like, you know, hey, I want to live stream. How do I set everything up? Right? I want to, you know, edit videos. How do I do it? I want to, you know, set up my backgrounds. How do I do that? You know, like those types of things that you need help with. And I'm considering starting to do more of that type of stuff and a little bit less of the YouTube stuff. I'm always going to do the YouTube help stuff. I can't say always, but I'm going to continue doing that for quite some time. But I'm thinking about doing more of the tool stuff just to kind of add that other, you know, that other side of things, because you as content creators, you know, YouTube growth is about a lot more than just understanding what makes, you know, content get views. It's also like, how do you actually make content? How do you, you know, do all of this stuff that's involved with creating content? So because of that, I'm actually considering, to answer your question, I'm actually considering like a slight pivot in what it is that I'm doing. And if you look at my channel, I've been kind of relatively inconsistent for a while, and all of that also because I'm in the process right now of, you know, of just kind of working through that and figuring out like what exactly I want to do to make sure that I'm still serving you in a good way, but also, you know, making sure that I'm thinking about, you know, like I know that my content's repetitive. You know, I know all of these things. So I'm, you know, just considering doing those things just to add, you know, that other arm of value, so to speak, because, you know, like all of those other things are also what help grow the channel, not just, you know, hearing the advice on the things that make channels grow, but, you know, the actual technical side of all the different things that you have to do, you know, to the skills I always talk about. You know, learn how to make thumbnails, learn how to write titles, like that kind of stuff. So actually showing you those things, I think would add a lot of value to you. I mean, we'll see if you respond to them or not, right? That's going to be like a whole other thing. But that's the direction that I'm considering taking things. Roger Wakefield says, love the new content ideas. Yeah. Thank you, Roger. So let's see here. So as we keep on going, we've got, let's see here, we got Pat's Beer Garage. We got that one taken care of. Bit of a Wander says, I'm a POV travel channel that walks, travel channel, and live walks with my viewers are a big part of what I do. Is it okay to leave those videos listed, or should I delist at some point? If that's a big part of what it is that you do and you do those, you know, live walks and your viewers love it, keep doing them. Right. And just think like, okay, a segment of my audience that loves these, like they're enjoying these. So I'm going to keep doing them as long as I keep enjoying them. So I would definitely keep doing them as long as your viewers are enjoying those. And then Pat's Beer Garage says, is it bad to upload too often? Yeah, I answered that one already. And then, okay. And then we answered that. So yeah, so we're good and we're caught up. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a lightning round. So what a lightning round is basically, if you have a question, put a Q in front of your question so I know it's for me. Drop it in the chat right now if you have a question, and I'm going to go through and I'm just going to crush through a handful of questions here, and we're going to pin them right on the screen. So if you have a question that you have for me, then just go ahead and drop it in the chat right now, and we're just going to go through and just start crushing some of these. So let's see here, looking for those cues as they come in. So here we go. Okay, Christianity Explained says, Basketball Tall says that would be a helpful pivot. Yeah, let me know in the chat. Like if I were to start doing more stuff like that, do you think, I mean, of course it would come down to it actually showing up on your homepage and if you actually responded to it or not, but would you find value in that? Do you think if I started doing more like tool related things and stuff like that as kind of like supplemental content, so to speak, is that something that you personally would respond to? If it's a yes, let me know. If it's a no, just say yes in the chat. If it's a no, then just put no in the chat. So let's see here. So the first question here is from Christianity Explained, says, just the man I want to talk to. I'm doing a 13-minute talking head video with the goal of encouraging others. Do you have soft music for my type of channel? Does it help with watch time? We do have soft music. It's actually called lo-fi music. If you go to creatormix.com, you'll see a lo-fi section there. You can actually click into the different albums, and then you can preview, each song, for the albums to see if it's something that you, like or whatever, or would fit the vibe of what it is that you're doing. But as of right now, like the chill stuff that we have is mostly lo-fi chill, but we've got like a mountain of music that we're putting in there. It's just everything, it takes time because it has to be processed. The album covers have to be made, the songs have to be mastered, all that stuff. So it takes time to process everything. So if we don't have it now, we will. But as of right now, the chill stuff is mostly lo-fi content. Let's see here. And in terms of does it help with watch time? It can create, it's kind of like a vibe, so to speak. So it's not that it necessarily like helps watch time, but it can kind of make the video like a little bit more interesting, so to speak. Like, I don't know if any of you experience this, but I know like when I edit my own videos, like when I'm editing the video itself and I'm sitting there and I'm like going through the video and I'm just listening to myself talk, I'm thinking to myself like, oh my gosh, this like I can't even believe I'm going to publish this to the internet, but I think it's going to be good when it's done. And then I'll add just like a small, like a little bit of like soft music in the background, and it completely changes the whole thing in terms of like, okay, yeah, this isn't that bad at all. So I think it's just kind of like adding that just kind of additional element just makes it a little bit more interesting maybe, or just kind of gives your ears something else to listen to. I don't know what it is. But in terms of does it help, what I recommend that you do is if you are going to, it fills. That's a great way to say that. Invisible America TV says music fills. That's a great, yeah. That's fantastic. Yes, that. But when you are doing the music though, one thing that I would be very mindful of is just make sure you don't make it too loud, because if you make it too loud, then it can turn off the viewer, unless like if you're going into like a segment of some kind where you're doing some type of like, sequence where there's like a passage of time or something like that. Of course, bringing it back up for that part. Leela, watch some of Leela's videos if she's still in here. Watch some of Leela's videos. She'll show you exactly how to do, all of that stuff. But just making sure that it's not too loud, because if it's too loud, it kind of makes things hard to hear and stuff like that. I run into that problem from time to time here on the live streams where I'll just bump a knob or I'll turn it up a little bit too much. And then in the chat, people will be like, hey, the music's too loud, that kind of stuff. But in video content, they can't really respond and you can't really make that adjustment in real time. So you just have to make sure that you're being mindful about that. Yeah, she's still here. So Leela's still here. So go watch on her channel. She actually has videos about how to, what's it called? Ducking. Like with your audio and stuff like that, to make sure that you're making room for your voice and those sorts of things. But she's got all of that type of stuff over there. Let's see here. So next up, we've got any growth exposure tips for new YouTubers? Yeah. Tons. Says I have 2 shorts, 149 views and 3 subscribers. I'm about to get consistent. I'm in the music commentary niche. So yeah. So first off, just keep going, learn everything that you possibly can. YouTube has some great free resources for you that will teach you, the core of things that you need to know. In addition to me, if this is like your first time interacting with this type of content, in addition to me, there's a bunch of other channels that also talk about YouTube. I recommend that you just watch different stuff from, everybody's channels so that you can figure out, who you resonate with and who shares information in a way that you can connect to, the best way. Like some people explain things and it makes a lot of sense. Other people explain things and it's like a little bit complicated, but for the person that explains things in the complicated way, like their, viewers will actually, understand it better because that's how they understand things, those sorts of things. So I recommend that you kind of sample everybody and start, learning from the people that you resonate with in terms of the information that they talk about. It just lands in terms of, it's easy for you to understand. So I would just focus on those things and just continuing to make content and work a lot on skill development. Like that whole thing that I just went through in terms of, like pivoting into doing like tools and stuff like that, making sure that you're just like focusing on like, just continuing to publish content and developing your skills, right? Developing the skills to learn how to do, all the things at the best way that you can. Because being a content creator can be hard. It can be challenging. There is a lot of stuff that, that you need to learn and that you need to apply that's beyond like, learn how to get people to click, like there's also, like making videos and all that stuff. So you got to learn the things that apply to what it is that you're doing so you can do it at the best way possible. Tips on growing a music channel. I don't know if you mean like a music channel where it's just audio, or if you're a personality music channel. If you're a personality music channel, then just shine, let your, inner self shine as much as you possibly can while you're doing help content to get started, so you can get some of that stuff showing up in search. Just as some of your content, as part of your content strategy, I would also make sure that as part of that process that you're also considering, like, okay, I'm also like, I might be putting some videos for search traffic so I can just get some nice stable, viewership coming in. But then I'm also going to make sure that I'm thinking of home pages. And when I'm thinking of home pages, what I mean by that is I need to be able to pull people into my content that are interested in music type content. And therefore I need to be able to grab that attention from a homepage. So study other music channels as much as you possibly can, because, success does leave clues. Also leverage playlists for that as well, because, if you have a channel where it's just audio, then in that case, like on the Creator Mix channel, which you can see right now, we're not currently doing it, but starting this coming week, like I'm going to be be starting to add like playlists over there on a regular basis and things like that, because when people are looking for audio only in the music world, one of the things that people will do is they'll look for like playlists of stuff. They'll look for like certain genres of music, and playlists show up, you know, in those areas a lot. So because of that, as part of what we're doing with that channel, we'll be, you know, putting out playlists on a regular basis and, you know, compiling a bunch of songs within those playlists and things like that, so that we can, you know, get, you know, some of that traffic coming in from those places, while we're trying to, you know, get better at, you know, tapping into people that are looking for music on homepages and suggested videos. Live streams, keep them posted or unlist them at some point. So what I recommend that you do is, if people are enjoying your live streams on the replay, then leave them up. If people are not enjoying them, in terms of like once your live stream is over, nobody responds to them, then in that case, you might want to unlist them and just have them as like that live moment. But one thing that I would do is I would just make sure that it's clear somewhere in your video descriptions or your channel art, your About Me page, you know, or in all those places. Make sure that it's clear that you do live stream at a particular time, to particular days, things like that, so that the people that do want to come into those, they can. And I would also leave like a couple of them up, or a few of them up. Even if you do take them down mostly, I would leave a few of them up, or put them in a playlist, because if you unlist them and put them in a playlist, they're not going to be on your videos page, and they're not going to be promoted by YouTube, but people will still be able to find them. Like if you list that channel page as a section on your homepage, or through your playlist page, or if in your videos or your video descriptions, you're like, hey, here's some replays of our walk and talks we do. You can join us every Wednesday at, you know, at 5 p.m., you know, something like that. So, so I would think of it from that perspective, but make that playlist. If you do unlist them, make that playlist so that people can access them if they choose to. Daniel Batal in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope you're doing awesome. So let's see here. So as we keep on going, again, make sure you put a Q in front of your question. The Smash Cake says, my channel is about photography education and smash cake photographers. I'm wondering that my niche is too narrow and I might run out of subjects to teach. Should I teach other areas of photography? So the first thing that I recommend, and I recommend everybody, like if you are starting a new channel or you're considering starting a new YouTube channel, one of the things that I recommend that you do is you write down a bunch of video ideas, so that you can get just kind of a rough gauge of the sustainability, long-term sustainability of your YouTube channel. So for example, let's say that you publish once a week, then I would write out 52 video ideas so that you can confirm that you'll be able to make videos for at least the next year. If you are like, hey, this is something that I probably want to do for a while, or I want to kind of leverage this for some benefit, then in that case, I would write down 100, because then, you know, once you get through that, you know, 104th video, then at that time, you know, you're gonna understand a lot more about your audience and all that good stuff. Really, after your 50th, you'll get that too. But basically just kind of flushing out a bunch of video ideas, however many you can think of, so that you can get that list together, so that you can kind of confirm the long-term sustainability of your channel. So I would do that. But then if you can't, like if you're like, yeah, you know, at this certain point, I can't come up with anything else, then I would start using some tools. So then I would go to answerthepublic.com. If you go to answerthepublic.com, you get, I think, 3 searches there per day for free. And you can just put in, you know, things related to the type of content that you make, and they'll spit out all of these questions that people ask about the content that you make. So in your case, it would be smash cake photography. And then you would see all the different stuff that people want to know about smash cake photography. Another thing you can do there in terms of tools, you can go to the search field on YouTube and start typing in smash cake photography. And then they're going to start suggesting, you know, these different things that people search for on YouTube. And then of course you can do smash cake photography space A. And then they're going to show you all the things based around the letter A that people look for, or that they're interested in around that topic. And then backspace B. And then you go through the whole alphabet there. And by the time that's done, hopefully you'll have just a humongous list or additional list of ideas that you can make for your videos. There's also, if you're a Tubebuddy user, you can use their keyword explorer. A lot of people think of it as like, hey, I'm just using that to optimize for search, but you can also use it to help you come up with video ideas. Basically same exact thing. You start putting in the keywords around the topics that you make content about, and then it will kick back other ways that people are looking for, you know, that type of information as well. So I would use all of those methods to write down a bunch of video ideas to see the long-term sustainability of your smash cake stuff. And if you find that you can't see that through for, you know, much longer, then in that case, that's where you might want to open it up to a little bit more of a broad audience. And in addition to that, like there is, you know, there is, you know, power in niching down, but there's also niching down too much. So, you know, I would also look around at other channels who make similar content, see what they do in terms of, you know, are there any large channels that do smash cake? I'm not familiar with what smash cake photography is, but are there any large channels that make content on smash cake photography on a regular basis that have been doing it for a while? If there are, then that's the proof that you need to know that you can do the thing, staying within that niche. But if you're like, hey, there's nobody doing that, or if it's a new thing, something like that, then that's where you want to write out that list of video ideas just to make sure that you can, that you're kind of planning for that sustainability, so to speak. So there's a lot of stuff that I just threw at you. So I apologize if that wasn't 100% clear, but hopefully that will, hopefully that'll help. Hey, thank you, Rob. I appreciate it, man. Can you go live too much? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's the you side of things. I mean, you know, we need sleep and, you know, all that good stuff. So yeah. So I guess technically, yeah, you can. Are longer videos more likely to get more impressions? No, they're not. So basically, if you are putting out, you know, short content, but people are responding to it, like everything comes down to response, right? So if you have longer videos, then in that particular case, what's going to happen is if people respond well, based on all the data that YouTube has, if people respond well to that longer content compared to all the other content that they're showing people at that moment in time, then, you know, it's going to keep getting impressions. But if people don't, then it's going to slow down. And it doesn't matter if the video is 20 minutes, if the video is 5 minutes, if the video is 2 minutes, like as long as people are getting value from it, as long as they keep clicking on it at a high rate, as long as, you know, you're getting enough watch time for impression, then YouTube will keep showing it to people. Like I've got a video on my channel. It's like 2 minutes long. I think it's like under a minute. It might be like a minute and it's like 2 minutes and 50 something seconds or whatever. It's got like I think it's like 1 million views or 2 million views on that particular video. So in terms of, you know, getting more impressions on like short on longer videos, it all comes down to how people respond. If they respond positively, you'll get more impressions. If they don't, then your impressions will start to go down. Let's see here. How many videos is too much in a playlist? This is a good, she doesn't have a question here, but this is a great question, so I'm going to answer it anyway. So how many videos is too much in a playlist? So a couple ways that you want to think about playlists, because they can be used in different ways. So for example, if you, the music reference that I was making before, like if it's songs, then in that case, you know, you have to think about, okay, the person that's going to be looking for, you know, chill study music, or 1 hour study music. Well, those people, you know, they're looking clearly for like 1 hour's worth of music. So therefore that playlist would have as many songs as it would need in order to hit that 1 hour, maybe a little bit over threshold, to serve, you know, those people. So, so then in that case, you know, it might be a lot of videos. But then if you're just thinking like, hey, I'm putting a playlist together for the purpose of linking to that, because again, we're being intentional about everything, right? So I'm putting a playlist together for the purpose of putting that playlist in my end screen so that I can, you know, hand off from this video that people are currently watching into this playlist of relevant content that's only 3 videos. And those videos go so well together with this piece of relevant content that I'm going to group them into a playlist together and try to send people into that particular playlist. And the likelihood, just based on, you know, how people respond to my content and all of that, the likelihood of them going into that playlist and watching all 3 videos is relatively high. So therefore, I'm going to just put those 3 relevant videos in there. That's totally fine. But if you're like, hey, I'm just going to put, you know, 50 videos in here because they're all related to this topic, then that's where you have to start thinking of it from the perspective of the viewer. So like if somebody goes into that playlist, yes, they can bookmark it. Yes, they can, come back and pick up where they left off without question. However, another thing you want to think about is like if somebody were to go into a playlist of 50 videos, well, nobody's got time to watch, 50 5-minute videos today. Right. So because of that, what you're doing is you're putting a playlist in front of them that's kind of intimidating because even if they wanted to, they couldn't watch all those videos. So just thinking of it from that perspective in terms of like, hey, 2 videos, 3 videos if I'm sending from my end screen, maybe, 2, 3, 4 videos if I'm sending from my community feed. And then if I'm doing it for organizational purposes to add them as sections on my channel page, that's where I would start putting in, more videos, maybe, 10 videos, maybe 15 videos, maybe 20, maybe 100, if it's like a custom, recent list or something like that. But basically when it comes to that, what you have to think about is how you are going to be using the playlist and how the viewers, based on how you're going to be trying to, drive people to that playlist, how those viewers are likely to interact with that playlist as well. That's what you want to think about. D, I think he's in the chat, but he's actually about 30 minutes away right now. So yeah, so he made it back into Thailand, and he is here. Unfortunately, he's not in the stream here today, but it's because I'm 30 minutes away. But he's not in the stream today. But we did hang out. We had dinner. We had some coffee earlier as well. But he's here. Adoption Diary says, balance of video versus live stream. I want to get into live streams more. So that comes down to experimentation. It comes down to like what you want to do. It comes down to, what you find works best for the purposes that you're doing each. So like, for example, like if you find that, hey, I need to publish, like 8 videos a month in order to, keep my ad revenue, around here, or to keep, whatever else thing is going on, to keep that moving. So therefore, I'm going to do a live stream like once a week, but I'm still going to make sure I do those 2 videos. Or if you're like, hey, I'm going to do a video and a live stream, that's fine too. But I would just give each one a little bit of room to breathe, because YouTube, even in the live stream on the replay, if you leave it public, even then in that case, they're still going to be recommending that to people after the stream is over. So just, keep that in mind. But in terms of, the balance, it really comes down to, what you find works on your channel, but start with one. And the reason you want to start with one, because, they can take energy, all that good stuff. So I would start with one, per week or per month, whatever you're comfortable with. And then as you, get more used to streaming, because you're saying you want to start doing it more, as you get more used to streaming, then I would just keep adding, right? And then as you enjoy it more and all that stuff, then I would start paying really close attention to your stats and how your channel's going and how your audience is responding to your streams, and then start making your decisions based on, how people are responding to each one. Demon Dro.
Super chat.
So are you doing the same things now that you were doing at 100,000? Is it just consistency that got you there, or changes that you made? So the things that I'm doing now compared to the things that I was doing at 100,000, they are definitely different. So basically, like let's say that I was in like on mode right now instead of maintenance mode. If I was on mode right now, then I would be adding like more playlists, the things that I was doing at 100,000. So I'd be adding more playlists on a regular basis and trying to drive people into more playlists. I'd be doing a lot more collaborations, those types of things, because those are all things that that help keep things moving. So basically, what I was doing before is like if I wasn't publishing something, then I would be interacting in some other way in terms of adding playlists and things like that, because at that time we didn't have community feeds or any of that. But now it's so easy to stay engaged. So like if you want to, you can do a story a day, depending on your channel size. But in your case, you can do a story a day, you can do a community post a day, you can do a video, you can do live streams, you can do all of these different things now to keep those touch points going of interacting with your viewers. So my on mode is it's approaching. So you'll see the approach once that arrives. Let's see here. So you'd love that type of content. Good. Best editing tip for audience retention: your hook. Your hook. So your hook is going to dictate the overall performance of your video, because if you can't get people past your hook or that beginning part of your video, it's done. So because of that, spend an excruciating and nauseating and very much time-consuming amount of time on what you're doing at the beginning of your videos, and also monitoring, like, okay, I'm really good at getting people this far. What's happening right here, right? Like, my video's this long and I'm really good at getting people here, but man, why can't I get people here? What is it that's happening, right here? And then start, going in and experimenting. So one thing, and I just want to mention this really quick too, like one thing as content creators that we do is we get comfortable doing what we do, right? So because of that, when it comes to like audience retention, like, in some cases, when you get things to a certain point, if it's working, then you're like, okay, that's good enough. But then, of course, to excel, you always want to keep pushing the envelope. But one thing that we do is we fall into this thing of like, hey, this is just how I make videos. So we just keep doing it, and then we keep expecting the results to change in terms of the audience retention, but they don't, because we keep doing the thing that gets us to that point, but we're not doing the thing that gets them past that point. So if you are running into that type of thing, like, yeah, I got a good hook, I'm keeping them watching, but I can't get them past here, then in that case, right before that point, do something completely different that you don't normally do. So let's say, for example, that it was, that you do something like I do in terms of on camera, you're talking to the camera. If it was something like that, then in that case, like if you can only get people to 40% of your video, of a 10-minute video, no matter what happens, they always stop at 40. Then in that case, right around that like 38% mark, like right around there when you're actually putting your video together, if you're normally here, that's where it's like, you know what, for this video, I'm just going to take my camera off, even though it's going to disrupt my entire set, whatever that I've got set up. I'm going to take the camera off and I'm going to go shoot this part outside, right? You do that just so that you can see like, okay, if I can just completely change everything, does that get people over that hump, right? Or do I reset people by opening loops and introducing, new ideas? Open loops are basically where you introduce like a concept that they stick around for so that they can get that closure later, right? If you just Google open loops, like you'll go down a rabbit hole on that one. But basically the idea is that you're just, letting them know that something else is coming later in the video. But experimenting with like different ways of doing that are also things that can also, pull people through those parts. Like once you hit that threshold of like, I can almost always get people to hear, that's where you got to really start getting creative in terms of, experimenting with different things, experimenting with different, not angles, but just like totally different ways of doing your videos, experimenting with, anything that you can possibly do that might cause people to look at those experiments as bridges, right? Like, okay, I can get people to here. I got to build a bridge to get people over to these higher percentages. And what you have to do is just experiment with a bunch of different things, either in the production side of things or what you're saying or doing or showing or letting people know is coming up in the videos in order to, have that bridge that takes people over. Viper, man about tech in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in here. Adapt 2030. What's up? Hope you're doing great. Says affiliate links are paid for hard-coded ad per video paid basis, best for revenue if product is popular. So I'm a fan of both. I think that as content creators, we should be leveraging all of the above. So like when you leverage like paid sponsorships, like hard-coded is what you're saying there. Like an ad type video, you're putting bumpers in, or you're just doing integrations in any way. Having some of your content, you do that. Having some of your content, as an affiliate. I think all of those things and doing, like basically adding that to your content strategy in terms of like, okay, this is the content I'm putting out that helps me move the channel. And then these are the different ways that I'm monetizing each piece of content over the course of, 30 or 90 days. These are all the different ways that I'm monetizing in order to keep filling these particular buckets. So like, for example, by doing that, you'll notice like, okay, if I make sure that, X amount of times per month that I mention an affiliate product, then you're going to notice that, you just keep that cash register ringing, so to speak. And then on the other side, it'll be like, okay, now another part of the thing that I do is I also work with sponsors and that sort of thing. And then you keep, adding value to them. Then what's going to happen is you're going to keep that cash register ringing. And then sometimes, maybe, a sponsor will move on, or they just have, certain contract links or whatever. While that's down, your affiliate stuff will carry you while you're out there looking for more sponsors and things like that. So, so because of that, I recommend that you actually balance it out by doing both, as long as the type of content you make has good affiliate offers for it that do add up to an amount that would either equal or be better to the sponsorship deals that you're getting long term. Because the difference is, when you do a sponsor video, and I'm actually going to scroll down here and I'm going to find this one if I can here, and I'm going to actually pin this one on the screen because this is a great thing for the experienced creators in here. Let's see here. Let me scroll down. Let's see here. Adapt 2030 is what I'm looking for. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to try to pin this one to the screen. So just give me 1 second here. Okay, maybe not. I might just have to just go for it without doing that. Okay, yeah, okay. So I can't find it. So so I'm just going to like I see it in this one, but I don't see it on the one over here to pin to the screen. So so basically, what I'm getting at is, when you are doing sponsorship deals, and even if you are just getting started on YouTube, this is important information that you need to know. So please, please listen to this part. But like when it comes to sponsorship, agreements, you also have to make sure that you are factoring in the loss. And what I mean by that is, every video that you make for someone else, that's a video that you could potentially make for yourself to spread awareness about your own products if you have them, your own services if you have them, or affiliate offers if you have them. So because of that, what can also happen is each one of those videos that you're making, if you make all of your videos for sponsors, you're living and dying by the sponsorship deals that you get. And that's also happening on like a per video basis. Or if you do long-term contracts like I do, then you're doing these like 6 months or a year at a time. And then you get to a capacity where you can only handle so many. But on the affiliate side, what happens there is you're actually creating an asset that can live on YouTube for years to come, and you're going to continue getting income from that as long as your video performs. So because of that, like one well-made affiliate video that ends up, getting put in front of, a decent amount of people because it's a good video, like one well-made affiliate video can bring you affiliate income for years to come, where that sponsor deal, you're getting that money, you're going to get your returns faster on that, but you're going to get that spike in income there, where the affiliate income can be like a long-term, income source. So because of that, I really recommend that you actually balance it out and you do both, to where, you're like, okay, this is where things are right now. So based on that, I'm going to go out and hunt down some more sponsorship deals in order to fill up this quick bucket. And then, as I'm working on that, then I'm going to, make some affiliate videos so that I can, start filling up this long-term bucket. Right. So I would take that approach. And another thing as well, since you're working with brands, another thing that I recommend to everybody that works with brands, that does any type of sponsorship agreements, is everybody wants to do like one video. But if you offer them a menu of, this is for one video, this is for 3 videos, this is for like a long-term contract, and you give them different prices and you explain to them all of the different ways that you can add value to them, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to get long-term contracts. And the win with a long-term contract is it keeps you as a creator off the hamster wheel. It's a win for the brand, because then they're not reliant on 1 or 2 videos to get in front of, majority of your audience. They actually get that continued exposure over a longer period of time, which does 2 things for the perceptions of the viewers. One is it continually puts it in front of them, so they're always aware about it. But 2, it also shows the people that are interacting with your content, that keep getting these messages, that you're continually standing behind this brand that you're working with, which is also, there's also power in that. So because of that, I recommend that you do the menu thing that I was talking about to kind of keep yourself off the hamster wheel, balance your affiliate promotions with your sponsorships as well. And of course, try as hard as you can to leverage both of those things in order to, make the income side of being a content creator a little less stressful and a little more consistent. Let's see here. Greetings from programs. Hope everyone's doing well this morning. Yep, doing well. Hope you're doing great too. Let's see here. So let's keep on going here. I'm actually going to go back up a little bit, because when I scrolled down, there were a lot that I missed. Let's see here. Where was I? Balance video versus live stream. Okay, that's where I was. Okay, so we're going to scroll down from here. Any tips for a therapist starting a channel? Absolutely. As a therapist, you are trying to help people with very specific problems. So just make sure that you're leveraging those problems and the emotions that come with those problems in your thumbnails and your titles. Because, the emotional side of, what you're dealing with as a therapist, you probably understand it deeper than anybody. So because of that, just make sure that you are, leveraging that, because, your ability to connect with the people that you're trying to reach is half of the game on YouTube. And then within that, as a new content creator, somebody that's starting a channel, you're going to see all of these large creators, because these large creators are the ones that are getting served to you the most, because they figured out, the process of learning how to, do all this stuff. So because of that, they're going to be doing things that might not necessarily be a great fit for you. And they're going to do some things that are going to be a great fit for you. So because of that, just make sure that you are kind of just taking notes, and that you're really thinking through the things that you see other content creators doing, that you're thinking through the things that they are doing, and thinking how it would apply to you and what it is that you're trying to do, and the image of yourself that you want to portray, and the value that you're going to be adding to the people that are going to be coming into your content. Because, in some cases, some of the things that you're seeing other people do may or may not be appropriate for your particular audience. So, keep those things in mind. And really quick,
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Speak English with this guy. Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure next time you get the chance, you go to Nimmin VIP. Oops, let me take this down here really quick. That you go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. When you go there, it's going to redirect you to the Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member. So I'm experimenting with something today. So my brother and Daniel Batal are getting ready to go live over on the StreamYard YouTube channel. They're going to be doing channel reviews over there. They're starting in like 2 minutes. So I'm going to drop a link here, but in addition to that, one thing that if you want to see this, I'm actually testing right now the redirect from YouTube. So basically you can set it up with YouTube. If you are somebody that live streams, you can set it up with YouTube to where you can hand off the end of your live stream. You can send everybody over to another live stream or another piece of content on YouTube. Now, as part of this, just as a heads up, if this is something that you are interested in as a streamer, for those of you that stream, one of the things that are a part of this is that you have to get that permission from the other channel to send people over there. So if you're going to be sending it to a friend or somebody like that, just make sure that you make sure your audiences match in some way. But in addition to that, they actually have to go into their settings, into their community option in their settings, and then they have to add you there to be able to do that handoff. So they have to give you permission first before you can send people over there. So they start here in like 1 minute. So what I'm going to do here in just maybe 2 minutes is I'm going to send you over to there. So if you want to see how that works, in real time, because I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be watching right along with you as well. Just because I want to see it on my end as well. Because one thing that's important for all of us as content creators is the flow and understanding how different things work on YouTube. So because of that, I'm also going to be just literally watching what happens when this ends here, so that I can see the exact process, so that I can make sure that I also use this in the best way that I can. So let's see here. Let me bring this out here just a little bit. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So with all of that, I do want to say, if you guys are watching this right now, just a heads up, you can go ahead and get started. I don't know if it's going to overtake the stream or not, but you can go ahead and get started. But if you are hanging out in the stream, I do want to say, first off, thank you so much for hanging out today. I hope you got, some value from the stream today. I hope, I was able to answer, some of the questions that you had. Hey, Zaggy DK, what's up, dude? Or hopefully, through the questions that somebody else, asked, hopefully you got some value there. But I do want to let you know, I do stream here every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you're a content creator and you're trying to figure this stuff out, I welcome you back next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern as well. And I also just want to remind you that, if you are, looking for royalty-free music that you can use in your videos, you can find that at creatormix.com. I also want to invite you to, check out the sponsors of the channel, because, they help make all this stuff, possible. So you can check them out over at tubebuddy.com, over at StreamYard.com as well. And thank you, everybody, for, hanging out. And I do want to let you know as well, if you're a content creator, that, during these streams, there's a lot of information shared. So instead of, trying to do all the things, just pick a few things, just focus on the ones that you're like, yeah, I should probably work on that. And then I will see you here next week. Roberto Blake in the house. What's up, my dude? Hope you're doing awesome. Hey, man, I sent you a message on Facebook. Go check that out when you get the chance. But everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend, and I will see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for hanging out here, and I will see you next time. Here we go. I'm going to end the broadcast now, and then we're gonna see what happens here on this redirect. Let's go.